You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
Minded, you've been blinded, looking for a style like mine, you can't find it. They are the audience, I am the lyricist. Sometimes the suckers on the side gotta hear this page of rage, yet I'm not in a cage. Free as a bird to fly about on stage. Ain't here for no frontin', just to say a little something. Your suckers don't like me cause you're all about nothing. However, I'm really fascinating to the letter. My all-around performance gets better and better. My English grammar comes down like a hammer. You need style, I need to pull your ball. I don't beg favors, you're kissing other people's. I write and produce myself just as fast. Keep my hair like.
Well, hello. How's everybody doing? I am Jordan Page, South Coast Kane. There we go. And this is South Coast Kane Show. I see that my man Cuban is here. Of course, the CEO is checking in. Hopefully everybody has had a wonderful week. Mine was kind of long. I'm kind of glad it's over with, but you know, it's cool. It's cool. So, yeah, last time I was sitting here doing this, I was giving Ike and Israel high praise. And then, Shad went and put out a video. Was it yesterday? Day before? Whatever. him and his co-host, Shad got him a little co-host. Little baby Shad getting big. She's getting big. Precious little thing. So if anybody has not watched that, Ike and Israel from the bottom of the map, they put a video out this morning. Matter of fact, it's like 2 and 4 or 5 days now. But anyway, the one they put out, Tuesday, I would recommend y'all watch that and also kind of couple it with Shad's latest. Shad was back on the couch. No diddy. Two great videos, two really, really good videos. But you know, we all know what happened last Saturday. And I just kind of wanted to let everybody do their talking, let everybody say their stuff. I was real curious to see what the CCC was going to say. And they didn't let me down. I believe what probably happened, I think I talked about this the other day, but I believe what happened is while we were having our post-game show, I think that the university had a Zoom call, Teams meeting, something. Or they sent an email out. I don't know. But a lot of the talking points were spot on. I do have a couple of topics that we'll discuss tonight. And I do hope that we get some good conversation. I mean, I got some topics, but y'all know how we roll over here. We'll start off on a topic and God knows where we're going to go. You know? I'm going to try to make sure I pin that message. Hopefully that message is pinned to the top on the YouTube here. There we go. That way it doesn't get lost. And when people come in, they should be able to see it as we go. So I'm going to go ahead and change my scene. So the topics that I have, I'm almost surprised because we have coming to the stage. I come in peace, CEO. What's going on, Cuban? How you been, buddy?
I just want to apologize to the Miss CEO. We're all Florida people are not the same people. I'm surprised you're having a show today, Mr. Jordan.
Well,
because I have some LSU buddies and they're pretty pissed off, and you have an LSU wife, so I don't know how you're doing.
Oh, I mean, it is what it is. But I'm glad I meant to talk about this the other day after that LSU Alabama game. The wife is, you got those Facebook groups and stuff like that, but she's part of one that, some LSU people, and one guy talked about getting rid of Brian Kelly and maybe they could get Cristobal to LSU.
Hey, I'll
give you the number.
GoFundMe at? Where's the GoFundMe?
Yeah. But yeah, I'm like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, wow. Oh well. But anyway,
well, before we keep going, because
yeah,
Anthony sent me a message, and I want to apologize to Anthony from the last show.
Okay.
I was a little bit aggressive, and and we talked it out, and I want to apologize to Anthony Mazzano. That was a little, I just get frustrated when the Mario boys come in here, and
right. Oh,
and without having proof, it irks me, right? And
most definitely.
And then you see me on Twitter, right? I am going in on the main CCC guys, right? And it's like those guys deserve my heat, but good guys like Anthony don't. So if he comes in here, I'll apologize to Anthony again.
Right.
That was all bad for me. So
right. And that's nice, like Cuban. But
I'm not a jerk at all times. I'm just
no.
99% of the time.
I mean, that's just it though. Sometimes we all get a little excited. We all get a little enthusiastic, heated or whatever. And, we go back and forth, like with Studio. I hate to pick on Hayru, but yeah, we usually don't agree with Hayru, but nothing's personal, nothing's personal, but we are going to have the conversations. We are going to have the debates. We will have discussions, and sometimes we're going to agree and sometimes we're not.
Yeah.
And if we don't agree, if you have a point, all I ask, to what Cuban just said, if you have a point, a thought, a theory, an opinion, please try to base it on facts. Okay. Now, if you just have that gut feeling, say, hey, I just have this gut feeling. Okay, cool. But don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you see me. I went after some other.
Yeah.
I ain't get personal, Mr. Larry Frank Jr.
Mr. Larry Frank.
Mr. Larry Frank.
Mr. Larry Frank.
That's a whole different story. I ain't go personal on that mother lover. He's one of the people that starts these bad narratives and these bad stories that just goes throughout the whole fan base. So
when
he goes on, on a respectful show like you talks that bullshit that this defense is amazing and we're fast and physical. I gotta call bullshit like that, Larry Frank. I'm sorry. I gotta respect it, man.
Right, and I
you see me. I went last week. I went after them. I went after Kane's Insight. I went after everybody because I'm like, enough of the bullshit, guys. Like,
exactly. And how long have we been talking about this, Cuban?
For a long. Hey, you had a show the whole off season about it, right?
Right.
And you warned everybody about this is a weak schedule. You warned everybody about Georgia Tech, about North Carolina, so on and so forth, But,
right. And, with that being said, it kind of leads me into my first topic.
Well, I know you have talks. I have topics too. So
again,
just leave it because I have this going on on Twitter, right?
Right.
I have this statement. I need somebody to prove me wrong. I say Manny's a better recruiter than Mario.
Well, if you look at what's on the field, I'm not going to argue it. But I'm glad you brought that up, Cuban. I'm glad you brought that up, just for the simple fact that, really at this point in time, dude, I really don't. I'm not really, honestly, I really don't care. Just my opinion, because I know some people are going to say, well, Mario brought in all this talent and I understand that at that discussion. But honestly, just me personally, I at this point, I really don't care. I just want to see something happen on the field
Yeah,
because
no,
we have yet to.
you know our points, right?
Right, right,
I say
right,
that
right,
Mario
right, right,
recruits like
right,
Larry
right,
Coker. He recruits based off 247 and rivals.
right,
He
right,
doesn't
right,
recruit like Butch off game film and things of that
right,
nature. He
right,
recruits.
right.
He has a fan base full, right? He's like, I'm going to recruit
Mm-hmm.
these quote unquote top recruits, and then I'm gonna have all these channels say, "Oh, he recruited a top 5 class," but they don't do shit on the field. But he's a great recruiter because had a top
Right,
5 class. Yeah,
right,
that doesn't mean you're a good recruiter,
and the beauty of it is, Cuban, we've heard this same song and dance for 20 years, dude.
right? Like, um,
You know,
Bobby out recruited Butch, ratings wise. Bobby always out recruited Butch ratings wise, but Butch always out evaluated and out recruited him,
right?
right? Because he created the best football team of all time, right? So
Okay.
there's a difference, right? But there's this
Well,
debate that I'm going online. I'm like, Manny's a better recruiter than Mario. Nobody has been able to disprove that point.
well, and not only that, but it seemed like Manny was able to get more. He was able to. I'm not saying Manny was perfect by no stretch of the imagination, but he seemed to have a little bit better game plan. I mean, he was a hell of a defensive coach when he was with Rick, defensive coordinator, considering what you had on the defense compared to now. Okay, because people have to remember, since the NIL era, okay, and the portal, a lot of the things that coaches before Diaz had it a little bit, but we had this discussion also that Mario has the luxury of no restraints, no obstacles, he has whatever he needs. You got the portal, the NIL, you got everything you need. And you have to take, and with that being said, if you go from, imagine if you will, if, the likes of Butch. Now, granted, I know Butch had the sanctions and stuff going on, but imagine if Butch had the same luxuries and the tools in the toolbox like Mario has. What would Shannon do? Oh, okay. Oh, they're coming in now. All right, Guidry greater than Shiano. I think I know who this is, but I'm not going to even take a chance at
Before
it.
we start, because I don't know if Anthony heard it. Anthony, like I said in the beginning of the show, Anthony, I just want to apologize to you with my tone last week. So, my bad, man.
No. Like I said in our private chat on Twitter, I think it's just we get emotional and sometimes it gets heated on. We're on live streams and stuff like that, so it gets heated, and it sometimes gets to the point where we start attacking each other and stuff like that. So I don't blame you, man. I really don't. But me and him,
me. Go ahead.
South Coast. Me and Cuban had a really good in the back, in a DM chat on Twitter. We actually had. Without being on a stream, we were able to have a rational conversation about the whole Mario situation. And I told him that I'm not defending Mario. I understand where he's coming from, that he had the financial backing, but let's be honest. There was times that even without the financial backing, Manny would make mistakes coaching too, like making the wrong hires also.
Oh, yes.
So I'm not defending either of them. I'm just saying that both coaches made mistakes with hiring.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean,
the only difference I would say is
taking the money out of it.
Well, you have to take the money because last year, they told man you got to be head coach in DC, right? It's like telling Mario, hey, you got to be O line coach, offensive
Eh,
coordinator, head coach, right? That's a
Yeah.
very tough. It's a very tough job. That's why Manny, the money matters because they pretty much told Mario, hey, you could hire whoever you want and
And,
go about it that way. That's the problem with that.
and on that note, real quick, before we get to Guidry is greater than Shiano, something the CEO talked about. She's like, maybe they ought to get Brian Kelly and Mario together as co-head coaches and see if they can actually make a team worth a damn.
Oh Jesus! You really think that would be a good idea?
I don't know, but I thought that
Did
was
LSU
pretty
lose today?
hilarious. Oh yeah, Florida beat them.
Oh, yeah,
They beat them.
Billy saved his job.
Oh, look, bro, the people, I was saying earlier that one of the Facebook groups the wife is part of, some LSU people, one of the guys said, well, maybe we could get rid of Brian Kelly and maybe we can persuade Cristobal to come to LSU.
Oh, Jesus.
But anyway,
Jordan, isn't it funny? We talked about that in the offseason. Didn't I say if Miami has a good season, don't be amazed if these other schools come after Mario. So
right now, again, now I don't want to jump ahead because I want to hear from this Guidry greater than Shiano cat.
It's Hayru.
But I don't know who it is. I think I know who it is, but I'm not making any presumptions at this point. Okay. But
that's
you can
hear
wait a minute.
Okay.
Speaking of that, you ever notice when Shad says something that could be, I don't know, wrong, his co-host chimes in?
Yep.
Or if he says something a little shaddish, she gives him that look. Almost like what Devin gave
Doesn't the wife always have that look?
Well, no, this is his daughter.
It's his little girl.
No, that's what I'm saying. Don't women in general have that look to?
I'm not touching that with the 10-foot pole, buddy. I am not answering that question. Nope, I am not falling for that trap.
That is not Cuban. That is not said. That is not South Korea. That is Anthony Lozano.
That is Anthony. No, I'm just joking. But I will say this: I know about the look. But I ain't gonna talk about it. All right, get you greater than Shiano. Talk to us.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Hey, Shad.
Man, how you been, man?
Doing good, man. We had a minor setback, but Guidry still greater than Greg Schiano. So
That sarcasm, I can hear it in your voice, Shad.
I got a bone to pick with Mr. Shad over there.
okay.
Go ahead and pick it.
No, Shad doesn't like giving me shout out when I called out this whole damn season before the show, right? And Shad doesn't want to answer my question when he's live. It's messed up. He's on there all live and he doesn't want to answer. Are you live during those chats, Shad, or you're
No, I'm
not
not
live?
live. I'm not live.
Damn, man, I thought you were live this whole time, and I'm in that group chat chatting away.
Uh-oh.
All right. So what are the topics for tonight? I'm sure we're going to get very controversial.
Stop
Well,
close one away.
No, I'm here. I got to do some stuff in the background here. Y'all, we're still here. We're still here. Go ahead.
We're trying to figure out, like, if Mario has to move on from Guidry, that's the issue. If we're gonna continue having this issue with the defense and stuff like that the rest of the season and possibly the ACC championship and stuff like that, and maybe the playoffs, what other experience, like non-group of 5 DC is going to come unless we were able to convince Doug Belk from Houston to come over, or the SM. Wait, is he Houston or the DC at SMU with Rhett Lashley?
That I don't know. Well, Shad, I got a question for you. I propose this question. I propose to everybody. Prove me wrong. Manny's a better recruiter than Mario.
I'm not the person to answer that question because I don't follow recruiting.
Huh? Maybe
Larry.
somebody.
So you have to
Okay, I'm
ask a
back.
recruiter. You have to ask a recruiting aficionado about something like that.
What's up, Mr. Larry Frank?
Mr.
Larry
Larry
Frank,
Frank, man, I'm sorry. I'm
Larry
sorry,
Frank in the
Gidry.
building.
What's up, good people?
Man, you done busted out the background, the hat, everything, bro. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I got to apologize to the Utah show as well. Mr. Larry Frank and Devin, I was not talking trash about you guys. I was talking trash about the other guy. So
You're
Who's
good.
the
You're
Who's the other
good.
guy?
Devin looked like he got mad at me for a second. I was like,
Nah,
I'm not
nah.
talking shit about you, Devin.
You're good. You're good
Who's the other?
because at that time, Devin was barbecuing and cooking and sipping and drinking, and you're good. Trust me. You trust me. You're good because I'm gonna tell you like this. Devin and after we finished, we were on one side because Devin lives on one side of Atlanta, and he had to bring me to where my wife was at her cousin's house, which is on the other side of Atlanta. And anybody that goes to Atlanta knows that going from one end of town to the other end of town is literally damn near 2 hours.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
as he was driving, he was getting the notifications on the chat for the video we did and everything that Cuban you were telling Flo. Trust me, you're good. It's nothing to apologize for. You're good. You're good. It's not. Don't even mention it.
Yeah, I got
You're
it.
good.
I was lighting the sorry ass up.
I mean, listen. I don't want to take over and change the subject, but just a real footnote to that. Going back to the bash when we talked to Cuban. I'm sorry, when we talked to Flo. The Georgia Tech play, the Georgia Tech game, particularly our performance on defense, played out exactly as I asked Flo, his opinion on what should happen. And I get it. You don't want to necessarily say certain things when you have certain relationships with the university. I understand that. But at the same time, as we've all said, we've said it on UTalk, you guys say it over here, and other content creators say it. When you're doing this content creator thing, you have an obligation to be 100 and keep it real with the subject matter. Right. And I'm just saying, it's more than just being 9-0 at the time as an answer to the defensive issues. So, it is what it is. But what we talking about over here, man? Like I said, it's no Miami football. I had to join in. What's up?
We just kind of getting all the greetings and salutations out the way. But yeah, I'm glad y'all made it home safely, Mr. Frank. Looking like it was a fun time out there. I wish things would have been different. I wish things didn't go to script. But, we were told this defense is not the problem.
Right.
So let me get this party started. So
I admit I was wrong about the ranking. You try to warn me that the ranking doesn't always show the actual play on the field, Larry, and I didn't want to believe you. I was trusting the actual 15th ranked defense that we had.
And I'm going, and I have numbers. I have a slide that we'll get to it in just a second. So defense, this is going to be a pretty big topic, but one of the things that really, I didn't understand this thinking. Shad kind of touched on it in his latest video. But a lot of the sentiment early in the week was the offense was why Miami lost to Georgia Tech, because the defense only gave up 28 points. And here's my thinking. I'm not arguing right or wrong, but my thinking, the first time I heard that, it kind of floored me, because I'm like, wait a minute. Now, I understand if you go by what the defense has done the last 5-6 games. Yeah, 28 is good, but I look at the bigger picture. this word standard that's been thrown around in the preseason, but you don't hear too much of it now. Let's be honest with ourselves. Regardless of what the defense is, was, or going to be, they gave up 28 points to a 5-4 Georgia Tech, who had a quarterback that couldn't throw the ball 10 yards. I mean, this was old school Georgia Tech without the triple option.
So this is Paul Johnson?
That's what it looked like. But I mean, the fact of the matter is the Georgia Tech offense, their running game, it wasn't really anything outrageous. Yeah, looked like they tried to do a little RPO, but still, the fact is they allowed a 5-4 Georgia Tech team to run for 270 something yards. And that's all they did was run, and nothing was done. And for the sentiment of the defense didn't lose this game, the offense did, because they only scored 23 points. And that's not, we talk about, and it's been talked about, how there was points left on the field vis-a-vis field goals and this and that. But the fact of the matter is the defense gave up 28 points. A Miami defense gave up 28 points to a 5-4 Georgia Tech team. And also Shad brought up a good point too. And I'm not picking on Shad. I just remember what he was saying. He was talking about how he's been watching these games, and he says that really nobody is playing defense this season.
In general?
My thinking is, if nobody is playing defense, then everybody's playing defense. And
okay. How does that make sense?
Again, this is my last opinion, and we're going to let it go around the room. My thing is, and I'm not being argumentative, but my thinking is, and my logic in my head says, what does the top 10 teams' defensive performance has to do with Miami giving up 28 points to a 5-4 Georgia Tech, and what they've done previous? That's all. Again, I'm just saying, it's just the talking heads from this week. Shad, since I kind of picked on you, I'll give you a chance for rebuttal first.
I mean, like I say, you make a good point. And you say if nobody's playing defense, that means everybody's playing defense. I mean, that's an interesting way to look at it. But I mean, just looking at some of the numbers, me going back to PFF, pulling up some of the numbers from last year, and then looking at the 4 metrics that I look at to say whether or not you have a good defense, third down, turnovers, red zone, and scoring defense or whatever. I mean, I think, based on those metrics, like I said in my video, I think we do have a defense that's overall really should be in the 40s, 50 range. And I think that's what we see honestly, I think that's what we see on the field. But
yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. It's just so hilarious to me that it has gone from this is Mario's best hire since he's been here to now people don't even want to give him an opportunity to see whether or not if he's going to go back to what we had in 2023 or is it going to be a continuation of 2024. Like, they don't even want to see that. So
right.
But
and we're gonna get to that scenario of coaching situation on defense. But and again, I'm not really, I guess, to give a little preface, I wasn't really arguing against your point, Shad. You made great points. I was just kind of giving you my derivative thinking on yours. All right, CEO. All right, Cuban, you've been quiet too long. Say something.
All right. So again, this goes back to recruiting and what we talked about in the offseason. Number one, Jordan, like we said in the offseason, I asked you, hey, name me the defensive players
Right,
on this
right,
team. You
right.
struggled, right?
Yes, various I did.
Recruiting. This is why I said Mario's not a good recruiter, right? We are lacking depth, according to a lot of people out here in these streets, right?
Well, no. I hate to interrupt you. But I was told we had depth.
I know I was told we had depth, right? And again, this what happens when you suck at not I'm not gonna say suck, when you miss a lot in recruiting, right? Everybody was happy that Cam and James were, left and LT. And I remember I think I told you, John, I'm like, Bain is good, but Bain's production dropped when LT got hurt, right?
Yeah,
And it's like if we don't
right.
have an opposite person side of Bain is going to look average to just regular because they're going to double and triple team him. Look what's happening, right? Everybody was championing Barron because he played good against Ball State, FAMU, and USF.
And
when
plus,
it came to ACC play, everything changed, right?
Well, also don't want to interrupt again, but Shad brought up a good point that everybody. What's up, B Nod? Shad brought up a good point too, and I remember this because everybody was singing Barron's praises because he came from an SEC team, Tennessee. So they thought he was going to be this great, defensive guy because he played against SEC opposition.
Yeah, but this is what's wrong with our program. We just we go by what other people tell us versus what we see. Nobody's seen Barron play, right?
No.
And it's like we don't know how he's going to perform, right?
Yeah.
But again, right? It's our fan base gets annoyed sometimes because like, man, you guys don't appreciate what you had. You didn't appreciate what we had in camp. And this is to Larry Frank's and U Talk show, right? There was a guy in the building that was helping him evaluate, but Mario, did not let him do his thing, Mr. Highsmith, right? Now we have players that it's like, well, who recruited these guys? Who evaluated these guys? Now we're in this position where we have no depth. If we are it's very scarce right now because we lost Richardson as cornerback. And now we're playing number 19 and who else on the other side? OJ Frederica's balling. He's a beast, right? But if players, if Kiko gets hurt, right? I mean, he's a bad linebacker. We have nobody to replace him. We have nobody to replace Barron. We have nobody to replace these safeties. And that is due to lack of recruiting and evaluating. This is why I'm going to stay on this for the longest time. Mario's not a better recruiter than Manning, right? Because if you look at Manning, you have Harrison Hunt, Roberts, Harvey, Cam, James, Flagg, balling all over the damn college football in the NFL. Mario has not done that with this program. That's why he lives in the portal, because he's missed a lot. So that's the problem with the defense. I don't think Guidry's that bad. I just think he doesn't have any talent to play with. And that's because...
Or the talent doesn't fit his scheme, maybe.
Hey, whose fault is that?
But I can say it's 50-50. Both the head coach and
Guidry's just the coach. He's not the recruiter. He doesn't recruit, right? Everybody says Mario's the recruiter.
But what I'm going to say, Cuban, why I say it's 50-50 is because doesn't the defensive coordinator and the position coaches on defense give input on who they should be recruiting for their defense?
Well, Larry Frank could speak on that more often because Mario did not allow Highsmith to get any input in anything, right? You think Guidry and Dawson are going to have any input on who they recruit? Hell no. Mario's a micromanager. He's not going to allow them to do that.
Let me
all right, go ahead, Larry Frank. Jump in.
And to Cuban Kane's point for bringing up Highsmith, and we talked about it on Utah. Alonzo Highsmith's job was to be a talent evaluator. Two parts to that. Yeah. One part was to evaluate the recruits coming in, and another part was to evaluate the guys that wanted to go pro and give a realistic assessment, having been in an executive role in the NFL. And because for whatever reason, it was told to us by some sources close to the program that there was a disconnect with Alonzo Highsmith and Mario. And Alonzo Highsmith, he took the higher road, he left. So the problem that you have is, I truly in my heart of heart believe that the scheme is not a bad scheme because you saw it work against inferior competition. But what you don't have with the scheme is capable players against higher competition. That's why you went from dominating Ball State, dominating FAMU. You had a little trouble with South Florida. They gave you the blues for a little while, but you eventually made adjustments and shut them down. And then when you transition into ACC play, and there's a step up in competition with Virginia Tech and Cal and Louisville and Duke, you're taking on players from the Power 5 level that's better than players from the Group of 5 level. Now,
Right.
You did make adjustments at times. You did make stops when it was needed at times. But overall, the scheme, I think, is okay. But the players that you have don't fit the scheme. And also, back to what Cuban said, not only is there an issue with depth, I'm going to add to that. I think there's an issue with some of these players with development because you're looking at multi-year guys.
Right.
Use one, Darryl Porter Jr. I don't care how many pass breaks up. And listen, I drunk the Kool-Aid on him coming into the season. I will be a man and tell you I was wrong on that. He's an example of one of the guys that he's been here for a long time, but he's not locking down. Frederic, I have more confidence in Frederic as a corner, as a true freshman, than I do in Porter. So, and we're going to talk about that Monday because we didn't do a show last night and it was a bye week and all of that, but we are going to do a show. We're going to have a show Monday, me and Devin. We're going to come at y'all on Monday. We're going to get into the defenses. Yeah, Monday, y'all know the time, 8 Eastern, 7 Central. We're going to talk about the defense and the scheme, and we're going to get into this more. But just to touch on it, that, in my opinion, is what it is. It's not the scheme. I think the scheme is good. It's guess what? The scheme worked last year. It worked last year.
Yep.
I mean, what happened? The same scheme worked last year, and everybody was scared that Guidry was about to leave, and then he comes back, and it's the players.
Right. Chris Kane, welcome, buddy. How you doing tonight?
What's going on, y'all? What's going on? We good, everybody?
Oh man, it's all good. It's all good. So, do y'all think? Honestly, let's be honest.
Anthony never answered.
He left.
Oh, my bad.
Chris Kane showed up and Anthony's like, I'm out of here. No, I'm joking. Anthony may have had something come up, but we'll let him get in if he comes back. So let's be honest, guys. Let's cut the crap. Let's stop all the sugarcoating. Let's be honest. Based on what we've seen so far with this defense, the whole body of work from Florida to Georgia Tech, can this defense allow Miami to win the ACC? And the reason why I say that is, there was also talk about a lot of people getting into the, Miami getting in the playoffs and this and that. But my expectation, my standard this year was win the ACC for the first time in 20 years, and then we'll go from there. But do y'all think that this defense that we've seen so far this season, is it going to allow Miami to win the ACC championship? Chris Kane, I'm going to let you start. Feel free to say whatever you want to say, talk about what you want to talk, and do it.
Okay. That's the case. Let me close the door.
Chris Kane knowledge coming, y'all.
Let me tell you something. You can mess around and look like the Ole Miss of the ACC if you want to. All offense, no defense, if you want to. Everybody notice here on this panel, and not just here, everywhere else, there has been a significant decline since that Florida game. Had we would have still had this Florida the defense like how we had when we played against Florida, we'd be unstoppable. We'd be undefeated. And we wouldn't be beating Cal by 1 point. We wouldn't be needing the referee to grace us against Virginia Tech. We wouldn't be in a whole shootout with Duke, okay, until the fourth quarter where we came back. We wouldn't have to worry about Georgia Tech. All of those would be convincing wins. The moment USF showed the blueprint of how to beat us on the edges, everybody else adopted it.
Right.
Florida State kept us at bay. Even though we beat them, we kept them at bay. Their defense was not bad. It's their offense that ain't shit. But their defense wasn't bad because they swarmed Cam. And we had no answers for it. When it comes to our defense, the scheme is you're right. There's nothing wrong with the scheme. It's the personnel you have to run that scheme. Because if you don't have the personnel to run the scheme, you're going to get what we have in 3rd and 18.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get lost, missed assignments, unblocked assignments. You're going to get these type of things when you don't have the personnel.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Don't get here and get 9-1 and get complacent. Act like you're 1-9. Act like you've never been there before. Every single game is a fight. But when you get complacent, you get Georgia Tech, you get Duke, you get Virginia Tech. You see what I'm saying? You get USF. To be honest, in the beginning part, you get Cal. Okay, you get these type of games.
Mm-hmm.
You have got to play a straight poker face every week. That Florida game was immaculate.
Oh, yes.
What my question is not that can the defense help us win a national championship? I mean, the ACC championship. My question is, what happened to that defense from Florida? I'm not worrying about Ball State. I'm not worrying about FAMU. I'm not worrying about that. Florida. What happened? That's my question. Okay, nobody seen the answer. Or nobody knows.
I mean, they Miami's defense only gave up 122 yards passing and 139 yards rushing against Florida.
Right. What happened?
Exactly.
What happened?
Which if you look at the state of college football right now, everybody wants to talk about defensive performances across the board. Those numbers against Florida pretty much to me signal a lockdown dominating defensive effort. So if they're able to continue that type of lockdown throughout the season, as they did from Florida through the non-conference into the ACC, Miami would be the number 1 team in the country.
Exactly.
Hands down.
Bingo.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because, you think about that, though. Because not only we would be the number 1 team, every team that we had on there, we would beat convincingly. We wouldn't need a second half to come back against nobody. We wouldn't need the refs to come against nobody. It wouldn't have mattered if they would have held against us or not. Because we have the personnel and because we have the right scheme, we would have that on lock. It would be on lock. What happened? What happened?
If the defense kept up the consistency from the Florida game, you would have literally had 28 to 30 point margins of victory in every game.
Yeah.
At minimum.
Exactly.
Minimum.
Exactly.
Exactly.
We wouldn't be having this conversation.
at
Right.
all.
What's up, Israel? Glad you could make it, buddy. Anything else, Chris Kane, before I move to Cuban?
Basically, that's all I want to know. I just want to know what happened to the decline. You get lackadaisical, you want to get headphones, you want to get chains, the little pendants, and all this other kind of stuff. All of that's cool and all, but me personally, I wouldn't be giving nobody nothing. What have you done to earn it?
Exactly. We kind of said the same thing last year after that bye week, going to start with that Georgia Tech game last year about what happened. But all right, Cuban, do you think this defense can allow Miami to win the ACC?
No, but just to one thing that Studio, I want to give credit to Studio, what he said about, now that he sees that all these players, that Cam is getting these commercials and all that stuff, now, they're feeling themselves a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And that's always been the problem at Miami, right? And when it comes to the defense, it's everybody's living off Cam's success, right? So these players think they're Cam, right? So they're like, "Oh, we're good on defense because whatever." It's like, no, Cam is the one it's pretty much the offense and the defense for you guys, right?
Right.
But no, I mean, I don't. We can't accept any free agents, right? I mean, once Syracuse game is going to be very interesting because they like to pass the ball, and if I see that number 19 on the field, I'm gonna get worried, right? They're going to start passing towards number 19, right? And again, going back to it, we just lack depth, and I just don't see. I saw the SMU game, and SMU scares the living hell out of me. I don't see how we match up against them defensive wise. That game is going to come up to, and it's funny because Jordan, we talked about it in the Georgia Tech game. I was like, Jordan, Miami has to score every single drive. If we don't score every single drive, we're screwed. From now on, it's like you have to pay. If Miami doesn't score a touchdown or a field goal every drive, we're going to be in a battle against Wake, against Syracuse, and hopefully against SMU. So I just cannot see this defense stopping anybody. I don't know where the strength. That's another part. What is the strength of this defense?
I thought it was the defensive line. Would be the defensive line.
No, they can't stop a run against SMU, and they're running the same play over and over and over. So
Exactly.
I don't even know what's the strength of this defense. I can tell you the strength of the offense is quarterback.
OJ Frederick is the strength of the defense right now.
OJ Frederick is the strength of the defense. That's sad. A true freshman, the strength of your defense in year 3.
Too bad we ain't got 11 more of him. 10 more of him.
Yeah, that was luck that we got him. That was.
Hey Jordan, could I go back to recruiting real quick? I have to jump off to go eat dinner and stuff.
Right.
But Cuban, you said Mario is not good at recruiting, and he has to micromanage everything. But I just think I can't remember which coach it was. It was Saban. He said he did an interview recently where he actually admitted his first 4 years, no, his first 5 years, even when he was winning 10 games, he would still micromanage everything because of the fact he didn't trust his own position coaches or coordinators to do the recruiting and stuff like that. So I'm not saying Mario's get beat like Saban, but
that's what I was going to say. Mario is not Saban. That's
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is, even a great coach like Saban, it took him till the middle of his tenure when he was constantly winning championships, either a national championship or a SEC championship, to where he would actually let off and let his position coaches and coordinators do all the recruiting, and he didn't have to do that because he actually trusted the people around him. Maybe Mario was still learning that.
Saban coached in the NFL. Mario never even sniffed.
No, I know that.
So he knows NFL talent. He knows what to look for. He knows what to look for when it comes to players. Mario has no idea. Mario is just like, hey, I'm going to recruit based off 247 and rivals and get those players. All right. He's not scouting. He's not evaluating. He cannot do that. He doesn't know that skill set. He's an offensive lineman. Saban has that skill set. Mario does not. You cannot, and it's not at you, Anthony. It's just when people keep comparing Mario to Butch, Kirby, Saban, is like, no, let's not do that. It's not even close.
Let me say something.
No, but what I'm comparing Mario the first 3 years, the same scenario of the micromanaging. What I'm saying is Saban did that even when he was deep into his tenure, that he didn't trust his position coaches to do even though he was in the NFL before. What I'm saying is he didn't trust his position coaches to do the recruiting or the coordinators. So
not to cut you off, Anthony, but hold up. Time. Let's look at the timeline of Saban's previous jobs, and then let's look at the timeline of Mario, okay? Saban, I believe, he was Kent State in the early goings of his career before he went to Michigan State.
That sounds right.
He coached Kansas State and Akron.
Okay, I knew it was a MAC school.
Yeah.
Okay, so he started off there. Then Michigan State, he had a 10-win season, and then he gets hired. He comes to LSU, has his big break at LSU, winds up winning a national championship at LSU. So in those first couple of years, now this is after, like Cuban said, this is after his tenure under Belichick with the Browns. So he comes from the NFL already, as Cuban said, having evaluated, been on the highest level. And let's remember, Nick Saban had a very high football IQ coming into this thing, even going back to his playing days. Mario, in my opinion, does not have and never had the football IQ that Nick Saban had. That's the first thing. Now, let's look at this. Let's compare apples to apples here. You take what Saban did I'm going to just use the Power 5 schools. I'm not going to use the MAC school. Let's look at what he did at Michigan State and LSU, which culminated in the national championship. Now, compare that to Mario, who goes from Oregon. Well, he was at FIU, so we ain't going to use that. But his first big job was at Oregon to now Miami. To me, I get what you're saying, but I can't really give any validity to the fact that, Saban said that he had to, because you got to think about it. To me, I think one of the main reasons Saban probably had to micromanage is because of the football knowledge and the high football IQ that he had. So he needs to make sure that, hey, I know what it should look like. I know how it should be. So you know what? I need to make sure that this thing doesn't get out of control. Now, Mario, at the same time, on the flip side, he ain't got the football IQ that Saban has. So why in the hell are you micromanaging when you don't know shit? And I see the comment by Ishmatic talking about Mario being the recruiter of the year in 2015, Mario being the number 2 national recruiter in 2016. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but how does that help Miami current day in 2024?
Well, to that is when Mario left Bama, Saban, Bama recruited better when Mario,
yes.
Right? So it's not Mario didn't really do anything. It was just Nick Saban and the power of Bama.
It's
right?
Alabama.
So
yes.
When people say, "Oh, he recruited great at Bama," I was like, "No, he did not," because if he did, Bama would have fell off, right? And Bama actually got better when he left. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
the offensive line, because they have Phil Lodeholt there.
And let me put this out here, because this is what nobody is talking about. How long has Miami been in the ACC?
20 years since 04, 05.
20 years, okay?
Yeah.
So here we go. I'm about to start a shitstorm with what I'm about to say. Mario better win the ACC championship, because if you fool around there and let a first-year school in SMU with a coach in his second year named Rhett Lashley, who was in his first head coaching job, come into the ACC, beat you in the process, and win the ACC championship, that's not a good look. I don't give a damn how good of a season Miami had.
Well, you're going to hear the excuses that Mario took over a bad. This is what I'm hearing on Twitter, right? That he took over a program that had a bad culture and no talent. And me, you know how we are, Larry Frank. He took over a team that pretty much fought to keep a sorry ass coach's job, right? He took over a team that had 2 guys predicted to go in the first round. He took over a team that had a better record than the Oregon team that he took over, you know what I'm saying, at Oregon. He took over a team that was predicted to win the damn Coastal. Like, if I keep hearing that this, he took over a team that had a bad culture, I'm beat up somebody. I'm like, these dudes damn near saved Manny's job. They
My
cannot have a bad culture. They have to have a
my
great
my
culture in
answer
order
to
to do that.
anybody that says that is he took over a team that was 8, 9, 10, whatever points away from being a 10-win squad in
Yeah, that's
2021.
what I
That's
say
my
that as
answer.
well.
hmm
Yeah, and it's like enough of that. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm not trying to hear the bad culture. I'm not trying to hear that excuse anymore because that's complete bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's like Mario won the Pac-12 in year 2 at Oregon. Why can't he do that in Miami? You know
Yep.
what I'm saying?
Uh,
And
Yeah.
go ahead.
but Larry Frank and Cuban, when they say the bad culture, do you think they include the lack of fun, the lack of faith of the administration in the football program, not the players and the coaches? Maybe they're targeting the administration when they say the bad culture because the lack of faith in the football program maybe is what they mean by the bad culture and stuff like
Anthony,
that.
this is my
Eh,
thing, Anthony. Hold 1 second, Jordan. And I'll let you
no,
go.
no, go ahead,
This
go
is
ahead.
my thing. This is the effing ACC, man. I don't know what type of players do we need to win the ACC. Do we need NFL players in order to win this damn ACC? This is probably the 5th best conference in the nation, right? We have like Larry Frank said, we have SMU going to the damn ACC championship game in year 1. What type of players do we need at Miami in order to win Miami? Do we need, it's like,
Dogs is what you need to
what
answer
type
your
of
question.
what
Dogs.
type of dogs?
We
We
need
have
dogs.
dogs.
Well,
Let me tell you something. When it comes to this ACC, there's no excuse for Mario this year. I don't want to hear nothing about the culture. I don't want to hear nothing about bad apples. You had 3 years. 3. All the Manny guys is out. As a matter of fact, the Manny guys are going to the ACC championship game. How ironic is that?
Guys that Manny recruited
That's
and his
Hmm.
true.
offensive
Manny's a better
coordinator.
recruiter.
So I don't want to hear nothing about bad apples. And I heard what you said, Larry Frank. I heard what you said, Cuban, and I agree with y'all 1,000,000%. There is no, oh, well, we had to get the bad apples out. Bro, you had 3 years. You get them out the first 2. This is you, year 3. Be held
and see,
accountable for what you do.
and here's my thing. I am sick and damn tired of hearing about culture. I have heard culture being used for the last 20 years. It's like they use the word culture because it's intangible. It's something that can be used to whatever. But that's
To
all
justify their excuses.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I've heard for 20 years. It's the culture. Going to change the culture, change the culture, change the culture. But nothing has happened in 20 years.
I gotta go check the house. Close that blind.
Okay.
Oh, what's up, Greg? Glad you're here, buddy. But again, and then that's why folks like me. That's what's so frustrating. You keep hearing about he's gonna change the culture. Hell, they said that about Shannon. They said that about Golden. They said that about Manny.
Mark Richt.
They said it about Mark Richt.
Well, the thing
And
is,
then they
Jordan,
say it about Mario. And honestly, I'm just really sick and dead. I mean,
because,
come on,
Jordan,
man.
it comes from one particular side, the CCC boys, right?
Right.
It comes from them, right?
And that's why I'm at the point, like I said earlier, I don't care whose players belong to who. I don't care what year these coaches are in. I don't care who the coach is. I don't care. I want to see results on the field because I don't. In the past, I have kind of, I drank the Kool-Aid in the past. Okay. But I'm at the point now, just win. Let's be successful on the field. I don't care I don't care who the damn coach is. All right? I don't care who recruited what player. I don't care what, whose players are doing what. And to your point about SMU, look what they're doing. I mean, I'm trying to stay calm here, but
no, get mad.
This is what when we went through the Rise of the Fall series. Okay, you talk about the schedule. Every year for the last 20, this is an easy schedule. Miami will win X amount. It's easy. Guess what happened this year in the preseason? This schedule's easy. Hold up. Oh, no. We're not starting that shit again. Okay? And, Syracuse. Y'all do know that Syracuse went to Berkeley, played Cal in a early game for the West Coast and beat them. Let me say that again in case y'all didn't hear me because it got quiet. Syracuse went to Berkeley, California, and Syracuse is in New York. Okay, went across country just like Miami did.
Yep.
Played Cal I guess it was 11 o'clock there in the morning. Miami played, what was it, like 8 hours later?
And
Syracuse left a day earlier and beat them. I think they beat them by like 11, 12 points. And I say that to, I guess, and I know Shad's patiently waiting, but from what I've seen so far, I just don't think. Thanks, Israel. 33-25. They held Cal to 25 points. They didn't have to come back from 35-10 down. They don't have a Cam Ward. They don't have a Mario. They don't have insert whoever there. But anyway, to answer my question, right now, I don't think this defense will allow Miami to win the ACC based on what we've seen.
Hey.
All right, Shad, bring some logic to this conversation.
I mean, it's not much logic to bring. I mean, if we're asking the defense can the defense be good enough to have us contending for a national title, I don't think so. I think
not so much the national title, Shad. Sorry to excuse me, but just to win the ACC championship game.
No, I mean, I don't think so, because one of the things that I do think we got to take into consideration, and it's often an overlooked thing, it goes back to how the CCC have come up. They've created another analytic that they can run on, so now they got strength of record. It's like, what the hell does that even mean? We're gonna stick to strength of schedule. We don't care about strength of record. We're gonna stick to strength of schedule. So obviously we played no ranked opponents this particular year.
Nope.
So the aspect of it is like, if we're faced with a team that can just go toe to toe with us, like a SMU and a Syracuse, because I've watched Syracuse play multiple times this year, and I think they have an offense that's going to give us a hell of a lot of trouble, because they have 4 legitimate guys that can go catch the football. They have a good running back, so you can't stack the box. We don't have anybody that can guard their tight end. They have Xavier Restrepo and Trevor Pena. So I mean, so there's 2 matchups right there that we have no answer for, and vice versa. They have no answer for Arroyo or Restrepo. The problem is, we've gotten in situations where teams have gotten up on us. Obviously Cal, Virginia Tech, stuff like that, and we've been able to come back. But I think that was more so the aspect that those teams, I don't think, are as good running the football, because obviously Georgia Tech was
Yeah.
able to find something that was successful, and I think
Mm-hmm.
teams are going to do that. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, but to kind of go back to what I touched on in my video, and going back to the series that you did over the summer, history shows when we control our own destiny, we end up not controlling it, which means that we are going to lose, or based on history, we're going to lose one of the next two games. May even lose both. But I mean, I'm not gonna say it because I'm not going to diminish Cam Ward's heroics like that. But we're gonna drop one of these next two games, and we very well might not even play an ACC championship game if history tells us anything. Cam Ward is the only thing that's standing in between history repeating itself for the 24th consecutive year versus we can say, all right, finally, the curse is over.
Right.
But history shows that we're going to lose another game, and we're not going to, and we'll end the regular season 10-2, which most people were happy with. But I think most people with that 10-2 is supposed to come with an ACC championship berth.
Yes.
And a 10-2 is not going to show up with an ACC championship berth. And then we'll go into a bowl game where we have all of the NFL guys, the pay for play guys. They're not going to play. So we end up in a situation similar to what transpired in 2017.
Right.
So
and Shad, you brought up a very good point on your latest video that Miami has the number one ranked offense in the country. I believe it's still number one. And you brought up a good point. What if this was the number 5 or number 10 ranked offense? Would it still, considering the defensive issues?
Before you finish that, like I said, I want to tip my hat to Ike and Israel because they brought up the aspect to say, is this really the number one offense? Because basically a lot of these statistics have come from a situation we're fighting to come back. So we have no choice but to put up enormous numbers. It's not like we're coming out the gate and we're putting 40 on people. And then in the second half, we're chilling. We got Reese Poffenbarger on the field, second team defenses, all this stuff. No, we literally, Cam Ward is literally having to play into the fourth quarter of these games.
Right.
Well, imagine we had the number 2 offense in the nation. We would have lost a couple of games already.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the margins, man. I mean,
that's crazy.
A short, 5 or 6 yards can change the whole trajectory of a game.
Right.
But I mean, it just goes to show we have no margin for error. Like we have to have.
And that's what's sad. That's what's sad. Mr. Frank, did I give you a chance to answer the question about do you think this defense is going to allow Miami to win the ACC?
No, not yet, but I'll expound on it.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No. The Miami defense, if anything, is going to cause the Miami team to either lose or even not even make it to the ACC championship, because pretty much what Shad was saying and everybody else, SMU is going to be who makes it there, and that's who Miami, should they make it there, that's who they're going to face. And it's not so much that I don't trust Guidry to be able to scheme against SMU, but it goes back to what I said earlier. I don't see Miami having the players or the personnel on defense to counter what SMU offensively is going to do. And the thing about it, they've taken Brashard Smith, who used to be a wide receiver, and now Brashard Smith has become a very solid running back at SMU.
Yes.
And we've seen what these other running backs have done when they play Miami.
Mm-hmm.
They gash them, and especially on the outside, they can't seal the edges for nothing. Right. And I expect Brashard Smith. I expect a lot of stuff to the outside. I'm expecting their quarterback to just burn Miami in the secondary. I mean, Frederico will be able to hold his side down, but I don't expect, especially if number 19's in there, I don't expect him to do anything. So our only hope is that Damari Brown comes back. But even if he comes back, he's going to have rust on him.
Right.
He would have to come back next week. He's got to come back
Yeah.
next week and get some significant action and get back in. And I mean, even one game coming back next week against Wake Forest, that ain't going to really get all the rust off because Wake Forest don't really have much of anything anyway. I think defensively, they should hold Wake Forest in check enough. The offense should run away because Wake Forest defense might be worse than Miami's defense. But come Syracuse, that's where you're going to see if DeMario is ready. So, no, to answer your question, no, Miami's defense is going to cause them to lose the ACC championship should they get there.
And you know, not to cut in, but to piggyback off what Larry Frank said, we know that Red Lashley, when need be, he gonna crank the tempo up.
Oh, quickly.
Oh yeah.
So,
we know that.
So we already know we have zero answers for that whatsoever. We have no answers for that whatsoever. They have a mobile quarterback, which we just let a guy with one shoulder go for 20 for 90.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I just it's not a good matchup whatsoever.
And I don't care if SMU is in the ACC currently. I still look at SMU as a group of 5 program. To me, they have a group of 5 identity. They're not a Power 5 pro. They just got thrown into the ACC because they elected to play, in whatever power conference took them. But potentially, Miami is probably going to lose to what is technically a group of 5 school. And you got a coach at a group of 5 school who is probably going to win an ACC championship before Miami. I'm hoping Miami does it, but I'm just being a realist here. And I'm going to say this before I turn it back. I want y'all to think about something. If this happens, you can add SMU to the list with Pitt. Even though Pitt didn't win the ACC, they played for the ACC championship. Virginia Tech has played for an ACC championship. How about Notre Dame for the COVID year? They weren't even technically in the ACC. But what happens? They come in when Miami technically would have qualified if they wouldn't have came in. Miami would have been number 2 behind Clemson back in 2020. But Notre Dame comes in. They play for an ACC championship. So if this happens, I don't care how good of a season Miami has had. You really need to start looking at Mario Cristobal as a coach because there was no excuse this year. You had the best roster up and down on paper coming into the season. And everybody was expecting, with the drop-off of Florida State, everybody was expecting Florida State to kind of be back in that mix. It was Florida State, Clemson, and Miami. Those were your big 3 coming into the season. Clemson, they ran as long as they could. They ran into some roadblocks. Louisville got them at the end. Georgia, hit them at the beginning of the season. Florida State just completely fell off the cliff. So all the dominoes fell and lined up for Miami to take over. And if you can't do that and allow Rhett Lashley and SMU to take over, you need to start looking at Mario, and especially going into next season where you don't have Cam Ward anymore, you don't have X anymore, you're not going to have some of them guys on the defensive line anymore. You're losing a lot. Like, everybody's looking at Cam leaving, but you're losing a hell of a lot more than Cam next year.
You losing Jacoby George too.
Jacoby George,
you losing him. Yeah, he's not here.
Exactly.
Arroyo, Rivers, and Andy.
Yeah, and then you're going to have to depend on that defense next year.
Against a tougher schedule, you got to open up against Notre Dame. You got Florida, who we just saw what Florida did. And it looks like, listen, the Florida that just beat LSU today was not the same Florida that we saw in week 1. And I'm more than certain they're going to ride that motivation into the offseason. Billy Napier's coming back, and they're going to want revenge when they go to the Rock. So you're going to have to see them. Yeah. I think you have Clemson on the schedule next year, if I'm not mistaken. Do they? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
Notre Dame game 1.
I could check though.
You have to go to SMU because I'm planning on going to that game in Dallas.
If y'all do go, Mr. Frank, let us know, man. I'd like to meet up because, like I said, me and the wife, I looked at it. I like to go to that game. So that'd be cool.
I'll be there. I'll be there.
All right. Cuban. Yep. Did I get a chance to let you respond to the question? Okay, because you know how things are here. The only structure we have is no structure. Okay, so
Shad, go on mute, Shad. Okay.
sound like his co-host was typing some stuff down. So I'm sure there are people either watching this now or will be watching it, and right now they're thinking, "Oh, so y'all say all this stuff, but what would you do to fix it? How would you make it better?" 10 steps ahead of you, buddy. Since we're all haters, since we're all not Canes fans, we look for the bad no matter how good things are. So, that's my next question. Cuban, I'm gonna start with you, and we'll go in order here.
You sure you want to come with me first? Because you know my number one answer.
No. I'm serious. For those who hear folks like us talk like we're talking, if they were to say, "All right, well, Cuban, what would you do to fix the defense?" What would you tell them?
Well, it's not fixing the defense; it's fixing the program, right? It's going back to something I asked you a while ago: is it a rebuild or a remodel, right? You got to start the rebuild process at sometime, right? So you got to, I hate this because it's a stupid comment, right? You got to play your young players, right? You got to play your young players because you're gonna have to pay the piper one day, right? If you don't, if you keep delaying this process of not playing your young players, you're gonna pay for it with the year like next year. Next year is gonna be a bad year because you're gonna have a lot of first-time players playing. But to fix the defense, man, you just gotta. There's only one way to fix the defense this year, and that's Cam scoring every single drive. That's it. That's the only way you could fix it because you cannot let your faith in this defense to get a stop for you to keep momentum. And so you just cannot. There's no faith in that, right? The only faith is if there's 10 drives in a game, Cam needs to score out of 8 or 10 of them. Outside of that, this year there is no fix. You just gotta hope. There is no, you can't sign a linebacker. You cannot sign safeties. You cannot sign cornerbacks. You cannot sign the D line. The only thing you can do is hope that the recruits that you quote unquote recruited are great come through and they are who they thought we were, right? But outside of that, there is really nothing you can do. Cam has to be the offense and defense, unfortunately.
All right, Mr. Frank, what would you do to change it or fix it or make it better?
Talking about before the completion of this season or going into next season?
Well, I'm talking like, let's say right now, you get the phone call, "Mr. Frank, we need you to come run this defense." In other words, what's your thoughts, what would you do if you were the DC right now?
The first thing I'm doing is I'm getting with all of my coaches. I'm getting with Nicholson. I'm getting with JT. I'm getting with the cornerbacks coach, and we're going to have a meeting, and we're going to sit together, and we're going to look at tape, and we're going to see, okay, we've had these problems that kind of showed its face, against South Florida a little bit, and then it really got exposed against Virginia Tech. We're going to have a come to Jesus meeting as to what's going on, what's happening in practice as to why we have the same things. We're going into week 10. We've had 2 bye weeks over the course of time. We're going into week 10. Week 11, I should say. I'm thrown off or whatever. We're going into our 11th game, I meant to say, not week 11, but our 11th game.
Right.
And we're still having the same problems of missed tackles, bad angles, bad communication, because definitely there's a coaching, there's something that's just not connecting from a coaching standpoint for the same mistakes to be happening week after week after week after week. That's the first thing that I'm doing is with a coaching staff. We're going to have a meeting to figure out what's going on. I want all of the input. I want to know what's going on. The second thing is, and like Cuban said, it's the same thing. It's very universal. You got all these young players. Well, if we're getting burnt by Kiko, if we're getting burnt by all of these other guys, in the secondary and all of that, not counting Frederic, I'm putting in the younger players. I'm putting Zay Patterson in the game. I'm putting Elijah Alston in the game. I'm putting all of the young guys in there, letting them get some significant time because guess what? Being loyal to the older guys and the top dogs, the older dogs in the program, and ain't paying dividends. So you know what? What do we have to lose? You're probably going to get better results because you're going to get hungrier guys. I'm bringing back the mantra of you don't want to come off that field because the guy behind you wants your spot. Because I think somewhere along the way from that identity, that people want to talk about culture, that's something that needs to be brought back if you want to talk about culture change. The culture
Right.
needs to be that if I don't do my job, if I become a liability instead of being an asset, my ass is going to sit on the bench. You say,
Well,
"Oh, I want
Larry,
that in there."
I just got to interrupt you, but the problem the problem we have with that is when you don't recruit well, you cannot replace that player, right? That's why I go back to Mario not being a good recruiter, because if he was a good
Right,
recruiter, he would have had players to replace these players.
right, right. But as the defensive coordinator, this is where I have to question Lance Guidry, because now if you as the DC knows that you don't have much that was brought in here that was recruited by the head coach, well, guess what? You and I are going to have a closed door conversation. Hey, Mario, moving forward, something's got to change. We got to get a better grouping of guys up in here. The thing about it is, while you up here bringing in guys based off of stars, we need to start looking at guys' talent and skill set and bring them in based off of that. Because, and I'm going to give you the credit, Q, because you've always said this, year in and year out. And this is what a lot of the people that talk about Mario's recruiting skills, even going to Oregon, I'm talking about as a head coach, going back to Oregon, is they're looking at the ranking of the class. They're looking at the ranking of the class. And when they look at the ranking of the class, they're getting all hyped up off of the ranking of the class. So the ranking of the class does not necessarily tell the skill level or the just how good these players are. Something's going on. So you're looking at all these star rankings and all of that, and they ain't panning out to nothing. So that's something that we're going to have to talk about. But just to sum it all up, that's what I would do. I would literally just have that meeting. And once we have that meeting, hey, we would have to figure it out. I'm playing the young guys and all of that. And then the third thing I would do is once we get into some in-game situations, should the guys that are playing start becoming liabilities, as we've seen over and over again, number 19, because we're going to see it again when he gets in there, go sit your ass on the bench. Hey, you, Mr. Freshman, whoever you got, come on, you're in there. Coach, I don't give a shit. Get in there. That's the only way to learn. Let's go. That's how you change the culture. Because the culture that you have now, if everybody wants to talk about the current culture, the culture that you have now, I'm an upperclassman. I'm guaranteed to play, and I'm not going to sit down because my coach is going to be loyal to me. That's your culture problem. That's what I would do.
What you got, Shad? What would you do to change it? What would you and your co-host do? Your assistant.
Hey man, you can't. It's nothing to fix. I mean, if we are going into the 11th game of the season, nobody controls the edges. Tackling has gotten much worse. I mean, at this point, and like I said, in Cuban, I gave you some, I gave you a shout out today when I brought up the aspect about what Dabo Swinney's doing at Clemson. And right now, it's the 11th game of the season, and we kind of in that situation now where Tyler Barron, Kiko, some of these other guys that have aspirations of going to the league, it's like, how hard are they actually going to go moving forward? So you want to play the young guys, and I've even seen some of the people say that, oh, well, Guidry's not working with a full deck. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that because they spoke so glowingly about the recruiting class, the linebacker, that great linebacker class that we brought in last year. And I think Popo is the one that has seen the most playing time, but he hasn't even seen 100 snaps this year either. And like I say, anybody can do, basic mathematics. You can play 10 snaps a game, just on special teams and get 100 snaps. So, I mean, that doesn't do anything. It doesn't help that Ruben Bain, had the injury and he's having what many people would call a sophomore slump. It looks so reminiscent of last year in the aspect of where Damari Brown played so well, and now we got OJ Frederick. The regression of Darrell Porter, I mean, I don't know what was the aspect of putting him in at the slot. His confidence is pretty much shot. Like I said, I broke that down on my video with the PFF scores. I know, and they're not posting PFF anymore. and I
You,
know
I
why,
know. I
and
noticed
I know
that
why,
too.
and I know why. I saw it.
Hmm
I saw why.
Chat, I
Um,
got a question for you, Chat. Is how big not having flag in there? Is that a huge difference not having Corey flag in there?
you know what? Before I answer that, Corey Flag is having a better year than Kiko at Missouri. He's having a better year than Kiko at Missouri. Um, I mean, Cuban, I know how you feel about Canesville and everything like that, and this y'all situation. But one thing that Streeter brought up when he was talking to Coach Hayes the other day, he brought up the fact that Popo told him that Corey Flag literally will go into each position group room on the defense and just sit and watch film. And he said Corey Flag basically told them, said, "Look, I'm not as athletic as you guys are, but I'm not going to let you guys essentially know more or be more prepared than I am. I'm not going to allow for that to happen." So again, that goes unspoken. And like I said, one of the things that Cuban, like you said, over the summer, the whole aspect of well, guys have not been working out over spring break in the past or over the
Ugh.
summer, even though
Part.
there's video evidence to
Oh
to prove that
yeah.
That
to
part.
prove that yeah to prove that that y'all are just buying into something. But one thing I have not heard right is I haven't heard any. I didn't hear anything about guys. Um, in terms of just, I haven't heard anyone speak just glowingly about Kiko just being this very high IQ player. For the most part, what most people said, well, we need to do what he did last year. He needs to blitz. And I'm like, if you're telling me that's the best thing that he can do, then it doesn't. I mean, you can take a PV offensive coordinator and say, okay, well, he can blitz, he can't cover, so he's on the field, he's a liability. So
Hmm
I mean, again, I don't know. I'm gonna ask this one question, man. I don't think it's as bad, but I mean, at this point, what's worse, putting Kiko in coverage on a running back, or when we had Daryl Jackson covering the running back at Florida State? I mean, it's just it's bad, man. And the thing of it is, and like you said, South Coast, I'm tired of hearing about culture, right? And the reason I'm tired of hearing about it is because these individuals spoke so glowingly about, okay, this is what's going to be different. How is this
Right.
different? For the past 20 years, we've heard play the young guys. We've heard that. We've heard that the young guys look better than the older guys. OJ Frederick look better than Daryl Porter do. Damari Brown look better than the older guys, minus Daryl Porter last year, look better than Corey Couch.
Right.
Um, um, the idiot that I spoke about, who I'm not gonna say his Twitter name, talking about after one game, I told you that Mish Powell and Jaden Harris were better than Cam and James. And I'm like, you're coming to this conclusion after one game. We haven't even played the
Right.
entire season yet. So I mean, there's no fixing for this, because the excuses that I see that they're compiling is this a talent excuse. And I'm with and I'm with Cuban right now. If it's a talent excuse in year three, then what the hell do them top five numbers mean beside those classes? Because I'm gonna tell you one thing, I'm gonna tell you another thing. Similar to that 2000, that original class, it's gonna be some defections from the 23 class, and it's gonna be some defections from the 24 class this upcoming
Right.
off season. Some people are gonna
Right.
leave.
Hmm
They're gonna leave. So
All right, Chris Kane, what would you have done different?
You really want to know?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Don't be bashful now.
Well, well, you know me, Tony. You know me, man. You know I'm far from that, man. Far from that
I
shot,
know.
though.
I
I'm
know.
gonna tell you.
I know.
I'm gonna tell you like this. Don't play them. Play the ones who's hungry.
Yeah.
Play the ones that have been on that. My Robbie Washington, my Bobby Washington. You know, play my Hellcats more. You know what I'm
Hmm
saying? play my defensive guys that's over there hungry, and let them know like there is no loyalty when it comes to this. You on this team because you played for the right spot, not because you're upperclassman. There is no guaranteed spot on my team. Okay. Every week in practice, you're gonna have to bust your ass. Every single week. Every single practice. Every single game. You do not get comfortable on my team at all. No game is where you're going to get comfortable. See, and that's the problem. That's the problem. Everybody wants to get comfortable because of the record that we have. Everybody want to get comfortable because of the NIL money that they got. Everybody wants to get comfortable because of the position that they have on the team. Oh, he's not going to replace me. He ain't going to put him in. I'm good, so I can mess up all I want to. No, the fuck you can't. Not on my team, because you can sit here and make $300,000, and your ass will sit on the bench on my team. I don't care what it is. This is my team. This is how I run it. So if you don't like it, the door is right there. You can, matter of fact, you don't even got to wait to the end of the season. You don't have to leave now. Don't worry, somebody else will take your space. I promise.
Right.
Okay, that's the culture. That's how you change it. Everybody can get got. Everybody can get got. Okay, it's not just be the team any given Saturday. You can lose your spot any given day. Okay, so you better be on your A game every time you are at practice, because if you're not, you're gonna sit out. And if you sit out at practice, you're gonna sit out during the game. Okay, so that's all there is to it. As far as everybody, as far as the personnel, we all touched on that. So there's no reason to regurgitate what was already said. We already know what it is. Those numbers, those 5 stars, I don't care about that. And I said this on the show with Larry Franklin. I'd rather have 3 stars full of dogs than 5 stars full of bitches. And I mean that. And I stand by that. Them stars, they look good. They're for the glitz and the glamour. They're the drama and all of that other kind of stuff. But if we got some dogs that's gonna hunt every game, that's hungry every game, that smells blood every game, those are the ones I want.
Chris, I got a question. Who's responsible to go get those damn dogs?
The head coaches is responsible. It is responsible. The DCs is responsible. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, on my team, you got a coaching position, your ass needs to be out there hunting for them. I don't care who it is, from Mario to Jason Taylor to Gidry to Dawson to the special teams to the offensive line coach, defensive line coach, the wide receiver coach. Get them all out there. Get them all hunting. Get them all.
Yep.
That's what I want.
Yep.
I want them all.
Yep.
Okay. That's plain and simple.
Oh yeah, good stuff. Yeah, Israel asks, was Cam and James good safeties? Are they better than what we got now? I think Cam and James were good. I think I just don't think they were really
I'll answer that question real quick. I'll answer it. Mike Tyson last night is better than our fucking safeties.
But wait a minute. Hold up. You know, Powell came from Washington, bro. National champion.
And Mike Tyson is a
That don't mean
Mike
nothing.
Tyson is a
But
world.
I was told this guy came from a national championship caliber participant team, Washington.
Again, all right. So let me ask: who are the backups for these two guys?
Is it Saquon and Markeith?
Zay Patterson and Markeith Williams.
No
Ooh,
competition.
I got it right.
So yeah, it's Zaquan. So one person is pushing. You know, this is the funny part. When we had the previous coach Manny, right? It's like, oh, there's nobody fighting for positions. There is nobody. There is no threat of losing a position on this team. Like if you are Powell and the other dude, do you really fear that that Zaquan's gonna take your position? Nah. You're like, I'm gonna play the way I'm gonna play, and they can't bench me because they haven't out recruited me. I think Zaquan is a beast, but if you don't out recruit your players, you have problems, right? And we have not out recruited in linebacker, safety, cornerback, D line, so on and so forth. That's why we have this situation. We just gotta hope and pray that this just turns out to be good. And what Chris says, and these guys turn into dogs and hear all this negative talk about them and just turn it around. Another big thing that I'm questioning is like not having Ed Reed in that building is kind of messing up this program a little bit. Ed Reed was the one checking people in there. And I don't know who's checking. Mario. Nobody's checking Mario. That's a problem. Nobody. All right. Nobody could tell him anything. And that's I'm
Maybe
not
that's
good with this whole homeboy system that they have going on in Miami now, right? That everybody is homeboy and nobody could check Mario. And if you don't have checks and balances, the shit's gonna crumble. So
yeah.
yeah.
Now, go ahead, Frank.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, look at the coaches and look at the personnel that has left, that has voluntarily left. Alonzo Highsmith. You know damn well, and I could tell you when Mr. Melvin Bratton, he could tell you better than anybody because that was his teammate.
Yeah,
Highsmith ain't taking no shit off of nobody.
Right.
And then like with Ed Reed, he ain't taking no shit off of nobody. So if you got Mario and I hate to coin it, but it is what it is, and these coaches on the coaching staff are a bunch of yes men.
That's exactly what it is.
It is what it is.
But talking about what we could change on this defense. I mean, if they can stop giving up these big plays, because ever since, it was kind of foretold in the Florida game, but I was for sure, kind of mesmerized about how good the game went for Miami. But Florida did pull off that, what was it, a 60, 70-yard run around the end?
On the edge, yeah. Right before halftime.
And it's like damn near every team we've played has had 2 or 3 of those type of plays.
Let me say something, South Coast, real
Go
quick
ahead.
while it's on my brain. And I'm going to pose this to the panel, yourself included. We beat Florida 41-17 in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all think if we had that game as an out-of-conference game and played them now that we would beat them? And if we beat them, would it be 41-17 today?
No, we would lose. No, we'd
good
lose.
question. No.
Nope.
What's up, Israel?
Hell no.
Uh-oh, he's muted up. Oh, there he is. Hey, talk to us. I'm gonna let you have the floor since your first
hold
time
on.
here.
Take that damn Hurricane icon on. You're a Notre Dame fan.
Oh, here we go. I wasn't gonna say anything, but
what? What we got? You got a little Irish dude up in here. What the hell I missed?
No, this I'm not going. I'm gonna let Israel. He's half from the bottom of the map. I'm gonna let him explain in his own words. Defend yourself, brother.
And what's up there, everybody, man? Appreciate you having me on.
Anytime.
And so I shared this story about how I was when I first got into football. The first quarterback I seen was Tony Rice. He was a black quarterback for Notre Dame, and I became a Notre Dame fan. It was like the first thing I seen. So it was like I was instantly a fan of Notre Dame, but I was only like 6 or 7 years old. So I'm not aware of the whole convicts versus Catholics rivalry and all that stuff. So like unfortunately I like both teams. But I grew up. I'm from Miami. I'm been a Miami fan, but I've been a Notre Dame fan too. So I mentioned this on one of the podcasts. You know, I knew it was blasphemous. People was gonna give me shit about it. So, you know, Cuban, he been giving me hell about it ever since.
Yep, ain't no way in hell you're Miami and Irish. That's impossible. That is
Hey man, Tony Rice was the
combination.
man though. Tony Rice was the man.
He was good. He was good.
Not to cut the conversation with anyone, but Wisconsin. Wait a minute, never mind. I was going to say Wisconsin is leading Oregon 16-6, but they just got a flag, so never mind. But sorry, go ahead.
That's okay.
We need chaos. Let's go Badgers. As long as TBD ain't under center, go Badgers.
And he's still hurt.
Oh yeah, he's done for the year. Yeah.
He's done for the year.
So you got anything? I know Israel, you've been listening for most of the show. I mean, I'll give you an opportunity to put your 2 cents in, let you come up to speed. So is there anything?
Nah,
you
man.
want to add?
I think y'all are handling it well, man. Like y'all are touching on everything like that needs to be said. Nah, man, I'm just in the background. Like I'm loving what y'all saying because y'all are addressing it straightforward, like it needs to be addressed. I mean, hearing too much of the lip service when it comes to Mario and even the defensive coaching staff. Like a lot of this shit they continue to say the same things over and over and over again, and we getting the same results. And like, if shit doesn't change, we're gonna get the same results. We be talking about the same shit year after year. It doesn't matter who regime, if it's Manny, Mario, Rick Golden, Randy Shannon, it doesn't matter. We're gonna be going through the same shit over and over again. Like we thought it was gonna change when we got a new athletic director. The same shit keeps happening. So like something has to change, and until that shit changes, we're gonna be doing the same thing every year. Every year, we're gonna be talking about the same shit over and over and over again.
Well, Israel, on the chat, he said Mario's a good recruiter. Why is that?
Based off of, if we're just gonna go purely off of like talent, if he's recruiting talent, because at the end of the day, like we're saying that we want like a certain talent pool. Based off the talent that he's recruiting, numbers wise, I don't think he's a good developer. He's a trash coach. But if you're just looking at the best talent, when you're going by rankings and saying like this is the number one person, even in the portal, like he's getting the top people in the portal. Now, these people he should be able to develop, or their skills should transfer from the previous school they were at to Miami, but it doesn't happen. I'm just saying he's able to get the talent. What he does after, he ain't shit at that point, but he's able to actually pull those recruits.
Talent based on what talent what talent has he recruited outside of Bean? There we go.
I mean, you got two top 5 recruiting classes.
Hold up. Wait, Cuban. I think you need to go ahead and put it in different categories because I get the transfer portal as part of recruiting, but let's go with straight from high school to recruiting. High school.
Yes.
So high school recruiting besides Bain. Who?
How many of them have really made it to the field though?
I mean, this is year 3. No excuses.
But to be fair, to shoot some bail. Inez Cooper, Francis, Mary Noah. I think we've done well with the tight ends, even though I think Elijah Arroyo has shown that he is still the best when
Arroyo's the Manny recruit.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying though. But I think we still have some talent behind it. I think obviously Elijah Lawson is going to be a Brevin Jordan 2.0. You know, if they use him correctly. I mean, I really think just the running backs. I don't know if it's pass protection or whatever, but I think just that play. I'm so enthused about Jordan Loud. It's not even funny, and I don't even usually geek out about freshman players. But
hold on, Shad. What play outside of that 91-yard play? What has Loud done?
That's what I'm saying. The running back rotation for the second year in a row, it makes absolutely no sense to me about what it is that we're doing. Like, why are we trying to redshirt running backs? And again, we talked about this over the summer. I mean, I didn't understand the aspect of bringing in additional running backs like that. You know,
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, you can't turn down a talent like Damian Martinez. You can't, but we talked about this probably 2 or 3 weeks ago in the aspect of, but does he fit what it is that we're trying to do offensively? Because it's like we're trying to serve two masters. We're trying to make Cam Ward improve his draft grade from a third round to a first round, while also subsequently trying to make sure that Damian Martinez is not being overused, but in limited uses, he's not effective. So,
But as far as Damian Martinez, I think you inadvertently stunted the growth of Mark Fletcher. Because if you look at what Mark Fletcher did last year, especially with the departure of Chaney and Henry Parrish,
yeah, Chaney and Parrish, yeah.
Fletcher should have been
Smith.
and Brashard Smith. Fletcher should have been RB1. Now I hear what they saying. He was texting Martinez saying, "Come on over here, come on to Miami," and it is what it is. I mean, who knows? But how much of Fletcher's growth was stunted by taking away reps? Because he would have been RB1. Can you imagine if Fletcher would have been the feature back? Now, as far as bringing Martinez in, I think the role should have been reversed. Fletcher should have been RB1. Martinez should have been RB2. And at the end of the day, you got all these other young freshmen that's playing. I just don't like how they did that, because that's how players wind up leaving the program, especially players that have been here that's waiting their turn. And then when it's their turn, you bringing in somebody else outside of the program that you're only going to have for a year, possibly 2 years, but then you got a 3-year guy that's leaving to go to SMU that would have 3 more years eligibility. I don't like how he did that.
This is my thing. For everybody that keeps saying Mario's elite, he's only recruited one elite player, and that's Bain. Everybody else is average.
Yo, let me jump in on this one. Let me jump in on this one because I pulled the recruits for 2022. We had Nigel Kelly, who didn't develop. We had Jaleel Skinner, who didn't develop. We had Trevante Citizen, who didn't get developed. We had Basaint, who's been middle of the road. Isaiah Horton, Jose.
That's Manny. He's a Manny recruit. He's a Manny recruit.
No, he's not. He is a Mario
He committed
recruit.
to Manny. He committed to Manny.
Kobe Young,
who's in jail,
and Inez Cooper. We also got Akeem Messador in as a transfer.
We talking about high school. Just high school.
Okay, high school. Okay, but that's a decent recruiting class. We ended up number 13, and those players just did not get developed, and they underused Kobe Young, in my opinion.
No. You see, you're doing the numbers wise thing, right? Don't do the numbers wise thing, because that's how Mario fools everybody. It's easy to go pay the top recruits in the nation and say that, oh, we have a great recruiting class. No, you don't, because you just got players. You didn't actually recruit players. You just paid people. Out of all those players, only 2 of them developed. That's horrible recruiting and scouting. Horrible. That is probably all-time worst. Go ahead, John. My bad.
No. I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into this situation. I have the information. I put this out during one of the Rise of the Fall shows, but I don't know if y'all know this or not, but Miami, since joining the ACC, the first year they didn't do the divisions until 05, 06. But, Miami had the best recruiting classes in the Coastal Division since the inception of the Coastal Division. Now, it may not have been nationally ranked or whatever, but if you go by, if we're gonna use the metric of stars and stuff, yeah, Miami, based on stars, has had more 3 and 4, more 4 and 5 stars in the Coastal for the last 20 years. Now, when you had the COVID year when everybody was together, and then like 04, when they were all together, of course, you had the Clemson and Florida State. But just from the coast, from the past, you know, according to the star chart, Miami has had the talent, you know. So, and that's why, you know, I'm not trying to. That's why I really don't give a rat's ass what coach brought in who and what kid is what coach's kid. I don't care. At this point, right now, today, I really don't. You know, I mean, it's good conversation, and I'm not trying to say y'all are wrong I'm just saying, you know, all this, it just needs to translate to success on the field. And you know, that's the whole thing that really ticks me off is you take the recruited talent, the star level of the guys on Miami's team, you know, last Saturday versus the star talent, the recruiting level of the folks that were on Georgia Tech's team last week.
I got an answer for that. And more importantly, I got a question. I guess my question is going to be an answer.
Okay.
Take all of Miami's starters, these so-called quote-unquote great recruits that have been brought in. And I want everybody here to just stop and think, how many of these guys, with the exception of Bain, how many of these other guys would be starters on these other power programs? Can you tell me that, I'm just trying to think, Inez Cooper, quote unquote, would he be a starter at Alabama? Would he be a starter at Georgia? Would he be a starter at Ohio State? Would Daryl Porter, who everybody was raving about? Oh man, he's got the greatest rating or whatever the last couple of years. Would Porter be a starter at one of these big time schools at Texas or whatever? Because I look at Miami's roster top to bottom. The only one I can see, honestly, on both sides of the ball that's starting right now in Miami that I could say, okay, this guy would be starting at another one of these power programs that's in the top of the class, top of the nation, is Ruben Bain. Nobody else that's starting at NX. Nobody else that's starting at Miami I can see in a starting role at Texas, Ohio State, Oregon, Alabama, you name them. They wouldn't start.
Hey, go ahead, Shad. Go ahead, Shad.
I mean, I think depending on the situation, I think Francis would start. I mean, obviously, he's not reached that elite status, but I mean, he's gotten better. I think he would be a player, like you said, X. But I mean, but as you say though, I mean, I don't see a lot of just a high end talent. But then, but to not to push back on what you just said, Larry Frank, because like I said, I agree with a lot of things that you said. How much of your opinion that you're drawing from the assessment of the roster are based on guys not being developed properly?
Yeah, I didn't even get to that portion of the programming yet.
Or are we just kind of just taking it on face value?
Those guys that we got that starters right now, if they were in other programs, and I know the development would be better, but once again, it goes back to the talent evaluation of these guys coming out of high school. With these guys, if they were recruited and committed and signed with other schools, would they even compete with the other guys that are starters or that's in these, or even on the depth chart at these other schools? Before we even get to development, I think that's the question that we have to ask. How good are these guys coming? And I'm just talking about the high school guys, not the portal guys. How good are the high school guys coming out of high school when they get recruited to Miami? Every year, we see it every year for signing day. Such and such, Mario got this one, Mario got that one. You're seeing people, yay, we got this 5-star player. Yay, we got this 4-star. Yay, we flipped this one. So at the end of the day, how many of these guys coming out of high school would have the same upside that is perceived when they come to Miami if they were to go to another program? Before we even get to development, that's a legitimate question that I have to ask, because it's beginning to look like, you know.
I think that's the problem, and I believe that's been the problem throughout. Yeah, King Kyle. I know everybody's paying now, so what I'm talking about is talking about all these recruits. I mean, Miami's always had the recruits, but I think the key word is development. You know, let's take Malagoa.
Which one?
Francis with the offensive lineman.
Baby brother.
Okay. Yeah, so
Little brother.
Yes, so Francis. Yeah.
Little Francis. You take him straight out of high school and you put him, say, at Alabama, Texas, Georgia. I mean, I would probably say that he would be developed and trained a hell of a lot better than he is from that little ball-headed Oompa Loompa they have at Miami.
That part.
How many times, again, and I hate to keep bringing up the past, but like this wise man said, you know, we're still seeing the same stuff go on. Anyway, you know, to me. I mean, look, I've been saying it ever since Arthur Brown signed for Miami. I said, yeah, I mean, because everybody would tell me, man, I saw Miami, they got that number one player, Brown. I said, yeah, but if they don't develop him, what's the use in getting them? In other words, it's kind of like, you know, they're basing all the glitz and glamour on the high school recruiting. The guy ain't done nothing, but hey, guess what? He was a 5-star, but nobody's done anything to help him out.
So it's kind of like the personification of the 2007 class. You got that number one overall recruiting class. Most of those guys out of Miami Northwestern.
The young bulls. Bulls, exactly.
What did they do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. There is no development. In other words, and also the same wise man. I'll just say shit. You know, it's like Miami, and it's true. Miami is trying to win the game by out-talenting everybody that's the opposition. And you know, it's exactly what made Larry Coker famous. Because if Coker didn't have the talent on the team that he had in 01, 02, it wouldn't have happened.
He was only there to be an autopilot. That's all he was.
Exactly.
And the players knew they could control him. That's why they wanted him.
Exactly. So what I'm getting at is, you know, everybody, again, that's why I don't give a rat's ass who the coach is. Because none of the coaches since Butch Davis left have ever coached anything anyway with Miami. Okay. The game day game planning still sucks eggs. Okay. Oh. No adjustments are really being made. You know, and I think Mr. Frank, I think you're the one that brought it up, how it's like Georgia Tech made these adjustments after the first drive.
Yes.
Miami had that nice pass play. That was it. And you know, it's like that. This has been this coaching ineptness. Okay, and again, this is not me being anti-Mario or pro anybody. I'm looking at the whole body of work. I don't care who the coach was. It's the same thing. There's no development. There is no game day planning. I don't think anybody watches film anymore. You know, but yet I'm still told that, you know, we have depth. We have the players. We have the
Where?
talent. We have the coach. You know, we have this, we have that. But guess what? We've been having the same shit for 20 years, and nothing has changed.
What you know what though? I got something to tell you. Nothing has changed because we didn't invest into our program or anything like that. So then, hold on, let me go close this door because I'm about to get real with y'all. So we look the same because the excuse was that we didn't invest, right? We didn't have it. We didn't have the money
Right.
to invest, or not the fact that we didn't have the money, the fact that we just had a stingy ass AD that didn't give a shit about the damn program.
Right.
Now,
Right.
once we get put on Front Street by Kirk Herbstreit, because he talked about our president, our AD,
Yep.
and the head coach,
Mhm.
the three big
Mhm.
dogs that's supposed to be in line, that's supposed to have the same thing, all looking for the same goal, are not aligned with each other. Correct? Right.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
here's the thing. Then we go and we start investing.
Mhm. Mhm.
Now all we're doing is paying money. We paid money to Mario, right?
Throwing money at the problem.
Threw money at him. Mind you, now let's get something real and let's keep it real. Oregon offered him more than what we did,
Mhm.
but the fact
Mhm.
is that they offered him another 500,000 or maybe another mil more than what we did, allegedly. Okay, let me
Right.
just put it
Right.
like
Right.
that, allegedly. So he turned it down because he wanted to come home because his mother was sick, and rightfully so. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
so
Right.
we went off of the feed as far as what he's done at Oregon. Okay,
Right.
we went off of the 2 out of 3 Pac-12 championships, and he did that. He's Miami. He played at Miami. He this. He that. Don't
He
nobody
was
get it.
he was a Saban
He
student. Had the
Yep.
he was a
blueprint.
right. He was a Saban student at Alabama, but and he did this and he did that. But see, here's the thing. Here's the problem. Lane Kiffin was too. So was Billy Napier. So
Yeah.
was Kirby Smart.
Right.
So
Will
was
Muschamp. Will Muschamp.
Exactly. Will Muschamp.
Yes.
All of
Right.
these people went ahead and they were at the coaching tree. So he did all of these things. Okay, cool. So my thing is that this is your real, other than Miami, Oregon was your biggest job. That's what Larry Frank just said. My whole thing is now you come home. Now you're the prodigal son. What's the difference than what Mark Rick did than what you did? Mark Rick that was on his way out, who was sick.
Yeah.
Okay, what was your biggest difference? Now that you've gotten money and we've invested, this is and the thing is that you are a highly paid coach,
Hmm.
and we still look the same fucking way. So what's the difference between him and Randy Shanahan? I know they didn't give Randy Shanahan the resources like how they gave Mario. So my question is, if that's the case and they giving you everything that you need, why the hell do you look the same fucking way?
Right.
Is my problem. This is the 11th game, and you mean to tell me that none of you motherfuckers know how to cover the edge? That's not on accident. That's
Right.
being taught. That's being taught. That's being
Exactly.
coached or uncoached of what not to do, because apparently you do whatever you want. Because this defense was different than the one against Ball State. It was different
Mhm.
against the one at FAMU. It was the
Yep.
difference against USF. Every single game that we've played, the defense has been different.
Yes.
What happened to consist? And it's not different in a good way. It's different in a bad way. You're inconsistent,
And it's getting progressively worse.
and it's
Oh
getting worse.
yes.
Wake Forest has nothing to lose, just like Georgia Tech had nothing to lose. Do you know these fuckers got they got a bowl game on us? They're bowl eligible on us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What makes it worse is that a 1-9 fucking Florida State team held Cal to 9 points.
I'm sorry, say that again.
A Florida State team held Cal to 9 points. That is the
Hey,
only
hey,
win that they got. 14-9
hey, you
was the
spitting
final
right
score.
now, boy. You spitting right now, boy.
Okay.
And that same Florida State team gave up 42 to the bye week this week.
Exactly. Now, here's another thing. Wake Forest, I don't know what their record is. I really don't give a shit. The only thing I give a damn about is that they play Miami. And the
Right.
problem with that is they're just like Georgia Tech, just in black and gold. If
Yeah.
we do not do any adjustments during this game, we're going to lose. And our record is going to be 9-3 without a ACC championship game. Because at the end of the day, Clemson won. They beat Pitt. We needed them to beat Clemson. They did their
Mhm.
job. Boston College lost to SMU. We needed
Yeah.
them to lose. They went, scored, got the ball back off of a fumble, and then scored and beat Boston College by 10 points.
Mhm.
So what we need to do, we have 2 ACC games, conference games, that we cannot lose. If we lose those games, gentlemen, we're in trouble. But
That
if
yeah.
Wake Forest is anything like Georgia Tech from what they're saying, we have a problem.
And keep this in mind as well. That's the final home game. It's senior day.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
If
Senior
you
day.
go out there and lay an egg next week at home,
Mm.
all the seniors on the team, this is the last time you will ever play at the Rock.
Mhm.
Well,
Exactly.
unless you the playoff scenario, depending on how that goes, because you
Right.
can host
Right.
the game.
Right.
But it's perceived that this is your last home game. This is your last game at home as a Cane.
Right.
You
Mhm.
lose that game, season's done. I don't care what nobody says. And you know what? I'm gonna say this, and I don't want to hog it real quick, but while it's on my mind, I gotta put it out there. I am so tired of people talking about Miami is on the rise because look at what Mario's doing in year 3. Miami is doing what it's doing this year because of Cam Ward. Cam is going to
Exactly.
be gone next
Yeah.
year. You're
Exactly.
you're going to get a tougher schedule with not so good quarterback play. Miami is not on the rise at all. I wish people would stop saying that shit. They're not.
Then you know what else, Larry Frank? You say Miami's on the rise. I know one else. Bread rises too. What the fuck is the point? What is the point? You are
Hey,
absolutely right, brother.
the
Bread
best thing
rises
Yeah.
too.
the best
Yeah.
thing I could say, and I'm gonna keep it clean because I don't know if we got young kids on the show. The male anatomy rises, but it does go down.
Right.
Mhm. 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 Well,
Exactly.
shoot, we've been on here for a little while, but anyway, yeah. I mean, this
No,
and I know we've been this show's been mostly geared around the defense, and I did that on purpose because, like I said at the beginning, the narrative out there early in the week was the offense is why Miami lost to Georgia Tech. The defense did their job and held them to 28 points.
Which was
I'm sorry. I mean, in my opinion, that's allowing for me. You're condoning and justifying mediocrity to giving up 28 points to a Georgia Tech. That's 5-4. Okay. Now compared to what the defense had been doing, I see you, Frank. I know. Compared to what they were doing, yeah, that's good. But go, Frank.
And I hate to interrupt you, but I didn't get a chance to chime in on that valid point right there.
Oh, chime in.
But I'm gonna just go there because it has to happen, because this was said exactly by somebody that we all know. I'm not naming no names. I watched their show, and they had a whole show dedicated to that, trying to place the blame on the offense. And I will say this: Cam and that offense took and had the defense's back all those games And the one time that the offense got put in check, you telling me the defense couldn't have the offense's back? And I don't care, they're talking about the point totals that were given up. The defense did not do its job because the defense just got exposed on the ground. You've been getting burnt in the air all season. So now you flipped it. You let a one-arm guy, a one-arm quarterback run on you. And you let a running game just run on you. This was the Rutgers game all over again. So, no, I'm not going to put blame on the offense. I'm not putting blame on Cam. I even saw a report. I saw one of these shows. I ain't going to say who it was. They had the audacity to say that Cam lost the game when he fumbled at the end. Really? Are you serious? I'm sorry. Mario passed on 3 field goals in the game. We lost by 5. At the end of the day,
Frank, you need to give me your names. You know how I am in the comments.
Cuban. I ain't gonna say the name. You already addressed them in the comments. Now you know who I'm talking about. But at the end of the day, when I saw this, when I saw what was said, and I saw how they're really legitimately trying to put this blame and pass more blame to the offense, and people are doing it to Cam. Let me tell you something. I got a guy I went to high school with, one of my buddies. He lives in the Houston area. He's a coach. He coached Cam Ward in AAU. He knows Cam Ward's parents. I'm working with him trying to get Cam Ward to come on Utah, but he said he got to wait until the season's over. So we're still working on that. Cool. I told my buddy, I said, listen, and I wanted to get Cam before the season, but I told him, I said, dude, I hope Cam knows how fickle this fan base is. They'll love you. And the first time that, you have a bad game, they're going to turn on you. And guess what? They did just that. When Cam fumbled at the end, yes, I agree, he held on to the ball too long. But at the same time, he's trying to will this team to victory. He's done it all season, off and on for the last 4 weeks. You love them. So the one time that it backfires, no comments or no blame given to the offensive line, who continually has problems blocking and trying to protect them. Oh, no, I ain't going to say that. You just want to put all the blame on Cam because he dropped the ball. And then all of a sudden you want to put blame on him and the offense and absolve the defense. Where are you as a fan base to think that the defense is all of a sudden playing good when they gave up 276 yards of rushing for the game on the ground, 250 of that at the half? Tell me where that's good defense. And then Cuban knows who it is because he was going back and forth. They're going to say, well, they only gave up 28 points. Are you serious? That's good defense?
That's what pisses me the hell off, because the same people were talking about, like I said, at the beginning of the season, it was all about standard. We have to maintain the standard.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you something.
And then now you're condoning and justifying the 28 points. Yeah. Now,
well, this is again, when you are paying and you get paid, right? You have slanted views, right? So, certain people didn't want Cam on the team, right? So they have a agenda and bias towards Cam, right? And like Larry Frank said, it's a very I go to games and I don't tell people who I am, right? Because I don't even sit with our fan base because it's I just want to punch them, right? I just sit in the opposite side. I don't tell them who the hell I am, because it's like I'll just punch the shot, right? But I'm sorry to say this. I'm not offending anybody on here, but we have the dumbest fan base in the United States. Miami fans do not know football. They know football, but they don't know football, right? It's you have a lot of my people, Cuban people, right, that are fans and just go by whatever the 560 QAM says and things of that nature, right? They can't create a justifiable opinion or subject, right? So that's why, this is one of Jordan's big words. Use discernment when you hear and you watch things. Don't listen to what people say. I could be right or wrong or whatever. Listen to what your eyes say and just be discerning about it. And to blame Cam, it's ridiculous. It's like if we don't have Cam, we lose about 4 to 5 games this year.
Absolutely. we'd be
and,
floored.
and not because and not because the offense would be piss poor, but the defense. You see what I'm getting at? I mean, yeah, I understand. Let's say if I'm not going to even worry about Poffin stuff, but let's say Emory was under center. Yes, it would be a totally different offense. It would probably be more of a more balanced, pass traditional. But regardless, with the same defense you have, it wouldn't matter who you had back there. Because you sure as hell wouldn't be coming back from Virginia Tech. You sure as hell wouldn't come back from, Cal.
Mm-hmm.
You better not
Look
let
at South
certain
Florida.
people- you better not let certain people hear you say that, because if somebody was here right now, I could hear the offense would be exactly the same if we had Emory Williams.
Yeah, that's dumb.
But again,
Shouts
the
out
point-
studio, I love you, bro.
but again, it doesn't matter who you have. Okay, you could you do whatever you want to, but the defense is not going to be able to take care of its side of the ball. That's the problem. Right. You still going to give up all those points to Virginia Tech. You're going to still give up all them points to Louisville, Cal, etc.
Duke.
Right.
You still going to have this. Yeah, you still are going to have.
You don't score 50.
And guess what? All those games without Cam Ward, we could roll them right now. You lose to Virginia Tech.
Yes.
You lose to Cal because you're not coming back from a 25-point deficit.
No.
You lose to Louisville because you're not going to be able to keep up with them because they keep scoring. Right. You lose to Duke because when you were down by 11, plus you already lost to Georgia Tech. That's 5 losses there.
5.
Right.
So you're 4 and 5 right now. We are the Florida Gators.
Yeah.
Right. And the funny thing is, the Gators beat LSU. They beat a ranked team.
Yeah.
And another thing, I wanted to add on to that real quick. And I'm gonna just leave it like that. You're gonna blame Cam Ward because he lost that game. How about if you was the defense don't give up a 3rd and 18, talking about that you gave up 28 points? Yeah, how about if you wouldn't have gave up that 3rd and 18, it would have been 21 points? How about if you don't stick it and put him in that position for him to have to go and play Superman? How about you get your asses off your shoulders and do what you're supposed to do instead of relying on him to pull you out the damn fire?
Right.
What about Georgia Tech's first possession? What was it, like the second play?
Right.
Dude scattered for that long run.
Missed the bad angle that he got the 40-50-yard run.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he broke number 7's ankles. Harrison.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because you don't know how to set the edge, because you don't know how to cover the edge. This is the 10th game, and you mean to tell me you don't know how to cover the edge? This ain't just a mistake. This is who you are.
And that's coach.
And I think Coach Guidry said it is what it is.
And see the problem.
And see, here's the problem though, is South Florida started the dominoes. Okay. Now, Wake Forest has probably been watching. That was me. Hang on, calm down. Gosh.
Even the dog knows we got problems.
Yeah.
Right.
But what I was going to say is Wake Forest has probably been watching the Georgia Tech game over and over and over and over and over and over again.
Did they have a bye week this week, or did they play?
No, they play in North Carolina right now. They're losing to North Carolina 24-10.
Okay.
But I guarantee you they saw and Syracuse. Oh, I guarantee you Syracuse is licking their chops right now.
Of course.
They're going to take, and they see, how to expose this defense or how to exploit it. Excuse me.
Well, you're
because
playing,
it's already
you're
been
playing
exposed.
You're playing your corners 10 to 12 yards off the ball.
Right.
Slants, I mean, come on, man.
Right.
Quick slants. And I mean, if you cheat up, guess what? A double move and you got the corners beat. And the safety's always taking bad angles.
Exactly.
Kyle McCord is going to have a field day.
Right.
Exactly.
Play up
So
on the line instead of playing all the way back, giving them room. Play up on them so they won't have no room. But do it with the reason where you won't get a flag. That's
Yes.
another problem. But go ahead. Y'all go ahead.
but
Yeah.
That's a whole nother
anyway,
story for a whole nother day.
yeah, I mean, and it's it's crazy. I mean, it's like, it's D'Onofrio all over again.
Yep.
It really is, because right now, you know what? I want to. I made this up, so I'm gonna add this to the stage. All right. So what we have here is the first 4 games, right? This is passing. I'm sorry, because I have all the other years up there, but this first row here is passing yards per game. All right. This is the rushing yards per game. Everybody talked about how great this defense was, but, in the first 4 games, they were averaging 168, giving up on passes, 65 on rushing. Cool. But look what happens on the passing when you hit the ACC play. Look at the rushing.
Yeah.
And look, this is ACC numbers for Miami: 224 passing, 164 rushing. Thank God for Duke and Cal. But
you know what stands out to me about that is, and I'm gonna look at ACC play. Virginia Tech drones only had 188 yards passing.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at Cal, that offense is not good, and that quarterback almost went for 300. Now, Louisville, we expected 300 yards in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Malik Murphy at Duke, 325 is no excuse.
Right.
And then look how the defense, look how it got flipped, because from Duke to Georgia Tech, you go from Malik Murphy, who shouldn't have gotten 325, to a Georgia Tech team that should have no way had 271 yards on the ground. That's just, the defense is just terrible.
It is. And then, so right now, since they had the good first 4 games, right now they're giving up about 200 passing, 115 rushing. All right. So, again, this is all passing. This is all rushing. The D'Onofrio years, look at these numbers. It's crazy. And then this is what it used to be. But, and the reason why I bring that up is because everybody still talks about, the numbers that the defense has only allowed this and allowed that, But anyway, so yeah, good stuff. I think it's been almost 2.5 hours. I think Shad fell asleep or he got tired of listening to us. I don't know. Oh. So I think what we're going to do, fellas, I think we're going to go ahead and get on out of here. I'm going to give everybody a chance to give their final words, their final thoughts, the final FUs or whatever. Okay. But I will start with Cuban. Cuban, give us something to feel better about going forward this season.
I still don't like Irish fans, so I only like one side of the bottom of the map. The other side, I don't like the other side of the bottom of the map. I don't rock the Irish. I'm next on to Israel. No,
it's all love. It's all love.
I'm just messing with you. One thing that I would do on the offensive side, I would change the offensive line. I'll start Bell at left tackle, Cooper at left guard, Rivers at center, Marigold at right guard, and McCoy at right tackle. Because Marigold has extremely slow feet. He's strong, but he has slow feet, and he's not a true tackle, right? I would change that, and we have 2 weeks left. I don't want this season to end, right? So I hope and pray Mario wakes the fuck up and wins these last 2 games, because I don't want this season to continue. I want to talk about playoff football, so on and so forth. So Mario, please win these next 3 games, because Q is going to be on your motherfucking head, and it's not going to be nice. That's all I got.
Mr. Frank?
Well, unfortunately, I think Miami's going to split for sure, because Cuban is trying to put his hope and faith in Mario, asking him to win. And the way Cuban always goes off on Mario, I don't see that happening. So anyway, thank you, Cuban. You just jinxed us. So hey, congratulations, Syracuse. You probably just won that last game. No. Let me stop. It's over. It's just about over, man. The season came and went. I was just listening on the radio the other day. They were talking about how we're starting week 11 of the NFL season. So football is just passing us by. What? Thanksgiving's in another week and a half. So when you hit Thanksgiving and get to the holiday time, that's a wrap. We know how it is. So all I can say is take care of business. It's a one-game season each week. The goal is, I think the initial goal was to win 10 games. I don't think this team really thought that they can go as far as the horizons lie in front of us, that being the playoffs, but one game at a time. Let's beat Wake Forest, and then let's see if we can try to do something against Syracuse. And we do that, we punch our ticket to Charlotte, and let's try to make that happen. And then if all of that works in our favor, let's see where the dominoes fall for the playoffs. And that's what I got. Quick plug, Monday night, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, U-Talk will be back on, myself and Devin. We're going to be talking about the defense. We're going to have and the thing about it, I was texting Devin right after I got on, and I sent him the link to the show, and when he looked, he's like, bro, I just set the thumbnail we're going to be talking about. I'm like, okay, well, hey, we're giving a preview right here on South Coast Show. So y'all be there, Monday night. We're going to get into it some more. We'll have the phone lines open, so we know we'll probably get some phone calls. So, hey, that's all I got. Go Canes.
All right, Israel. Here's your chance to shine, buddy. Show us some of that enthusiasm that y'all got me all riled up over.
Hey, man, I just wanted to say this is why I fuck with y'all. South Coast, Cuban, Larry Frank, Chris Kane, Shad, man, y'all spitting, man. I really ain't got shit else to add, man. Like y'all hit every corner. Man, I don't know if y'all pay attention to wrestling or not, but man, it's like y'all like the NWO, like y'all the bad guys. They don't want to hear this. Like, look, they don't want to hear this.
When I come out there, you're gonna hear.
Oh, hey, look, Israel, look. There's been times where we're actually being behaved tonight. We're behaved.
No, but actually, we are the good guys. We're not the bad guys. The bad guys are the other guys telling you that bullshit.
Yeah, usually we'll have, 6-7 people in the chat talking about how much we're haters and how Mario was building a juggernaut program. And look, this isn't enough, but yeah, it's been a very cordial show.
Well, losing to Georgia Tech will calm those crazy bastards.
Especially like I said, when we said, hey, it's coming. The trains are coming. It's coming around the bend. Nah, that ain't no train. You're just making that up. Next thing you know, calling the meat wagon, scraping them off the rails.
Hey, Devin said it best on one of our shows, and they got mad at him. Devin said, Frank, that L coming. That L is coming. He said that after Virginia Tech, and boy, they ate him up for that. But hey, he called it.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Israel. Continue, sir. Continue.
Nah, man. Like I said, man. That's why I fuck with y'all, because y'all keep it real. Y'all be spitting, the shit that the fans don't want to hear, the delusional fans. And everything everybody's saying is facts, man. And especially, I think one thing that a lot of people miss, which might be more of a kind of a underlying thing, is what Chris Kane was talking about as far as the administration and like the athletic director and the coaching, like not being on the same page. And Kurt really putting a spotlight on that and wondering why we went through, we keep going through these years of, are we back, and all this different shit we just continue to go through. But anyways, yeah, man, I don't really got nothing to add to what y'all saying, man. Y'all just keep spitting. Cuban, I still fuck with you,
all day. Man, you gotta tell people listen to that damn show, because y'all, that last show, y'all, not this one, the one before, that shit was fire. You guys went in.
Hey, bro, I
gotta listen to it.
Yeah, bro, if you're sensitive, do not listen to it.
Dude, I sat there I was in awe, bro. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Man, it was so riveting to me. I had to do a patio perspective after watching it, dude. I had to do it.
They weren't nice and easy this last show, so I don't know what happened. So I don't know who got to them because before they were raw and uncut, then they went all G-rated on us. I don't know what happened at the bottom of the night.
Hey, we're not trying to get no press passes, man. We ain't trying to get no press passes.
Yeah, but
I don't need no damn press pass.
But yeah, Chris Kane, that's from the bottom of DA map. Ike in Israel over there. Bro, I don't know if you've had the pleasure of watching any of their shows. You need to. I'm telling you, bro. I'm not going to promote something that, no.
You ain't gonna promote no bullshit. I already know.
No, it's legit, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, we just talk a little reckless, so you sensitive, you might not want to fuck with us, but we're a little reckless as we just gonna tell you.
I'm telling you, man,
you ain't shit. We're gonna tell you like it is.
Yeah,
Israel, I'm gonna tell you something. You should hear me on Utah, brother. Trust me, I love.
Oh, hey, Chris, that's why I'm saying. That's why I'm saying. From the bottom of the map is right up there with Utah, with us, even Shad. Yeah, there's no bullshit. They're not getting paid to do it, just like the rest of us.
The worst thing that can happen is if we do
trust me.
Simulcast, boy.
I'm in the background, but I definitely fuck with Utah, man. South Coast can't be putting me on, man. So when I know the guys are going to be, not playing politics, but really speaking about the team and the fan base, like in a real way. That's what I fuck with, and I definitely be tuned in. I just be in the background, but I definitely be following and telling other people, like, man, if you want to hear some real, straightforward talk about Miami and what's going on with the Hurricanes, man, check these guys out.
Appreciate that. All love.
Sugar coating over there, baby. Sugar make your teeth rock. You ain't got time for that shit.
And I figured if we all promote all of our channels like this and other things out there, that eventually the good guys will win. But anyway, I digress. Oh,
Chris King.
Was there anything else, Israel?
Hey, Cuban, leave me alone, man. Leave me alone.
I mean, you're an Irish fan, man. I don't know, man. I don't know how this relationship is going to work out, man. You're an Irish fan. I'm pro. Like I said, I support one side of the bottom of the map. I don't support the other side.
Don't tell me. I'll donate half.
Don't tell me. That first game of next season gonna be a doozy.
I was about to say, don't tell me my man gonna be torn in game 1 next year.
So he's a Notre Dame fan. He's gonna be rocking that Notre Dame hat out there. So we already know.
What a Notre Dame hat with a Canes jersey.
He's gonna be the black leprechaun. He's gonna be the black leprechaun on the field.
Oh,
I want to be gold. Oh man.
And hey, let's get to next year first, yo. Let's get through this year first.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming. Next year is coming, whether you want to or not. All right, Chris Kane, what you got for us, buddy? Don't save a little for Monday night now.
Oh,
I don't need Devin and Frank crying about me.
Man,
you took all his love. Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you like this. Just win your games. Be dominant. Show us something different. Make adjustments when you're supposed to. Handle your business. Don't stop being a stubborn ass and get your ass off your shoulders and start coaching the right way. You didn't forget how to coach. Okay? You're just stubborn in your ways. We are 9-1. We haven't been 9-1 in a while. Okay? We haven't been 9-1 in a while. Okay? We on the brink of winning 10 games. Okay, we have a brink of going to the ACC championship if we dominate. We gotta dominate. Not just skate by. Bring a whole different defense. I want the defense from the first game.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
If I could go back to any other game, I want the defense from the first game. That's all I ask for. You bring them back because we're not hurt like that. So it's not like we don't have the personnel to bring that back to the first game. So therefore, that's what I'm looking for. Handle your business and whoop ass. Win out and get this ACC title for the first time. Bring it home. That's all I'm gonna say. For one game at a time, handle your damn business and be accountable for the shit that you do. And that's it. That's all I got.
Good stuff. All right, Shad, here's your chance.
No, I just wanted to piggyback off of something that y'all said, and it made me think about the quote that Shannon Sharp has kind of said more often, and this is mostly in part to the individuals that are trying to blame Cam and the offense for the loss. And the quote is, "Never accept anything in a win that you wouldn't in a loss." So essentially, if y'all accept the hero ball when he's making the acrobatic throws across the field, throwing out of a sack, being, playing playground ball. That particular play against Georgia Tech, that's a play that we've seen him be successful on. So don't be critical of it now. Start talking about he's holding the ball too much because he does it every game. But it usually works out in our favor. You know what I mean?
Right.
But at the end of the day, like I said earlier in the broadcast, history shows that we're going to drop another game or two. And the unfortunate thing about it is obviously if it's a regular season game, then there's no ACC championship game, and then we'll go into a bowl game with the reserves. So, I mean, that just exacerbates, the situation. But all in all, man, hey, man, the season is winding up. Like Larry Frank said, hey, the season is winding up. It came with a lot of excitement. I think we've, to some extent, at least from an offensive perspective, that side of the ball, record breaking, right? So, but we didn't get the team in the third. We didn't get the team in the third year that we were expecting to get. And just based on the way that eligibility is going right now, I mean, the likelihood of us seeing another team with a quarterback like this from Miami and everything being the way that it needs to be, I mean, we're talking about another maybe 2 or 3 years. And so, I mean, it's going to be interesting to kind of see how this goes. But all in all, man, it's been a fun year for the most part. And just see where the chips land.
Well, first and foremost, thanks to all of you folks for being here. I mean, y'all, if somebody's watching this out of I don't think y'all realize what we have here. Of course, we got the lovable and adorable Cuban K. All right. But I mean, we got Mr. Frank. We got The Shad. Chris Kane dropping knowledge. And Israel, half of probably one of the best shows out there on the market, man. And it's amazing. Look, I'm trying not to be fanboy, bro. I'm serious. I mean, I don't think I really appreciate, what we got going on, man. I really do. And I just like how we all, promote each other, and we're not in it for the money. There's no donation button down there. There's no I mean, even Mr. Larry Frank and Mr. Devin, they're not begging for money like most channels are. If you want to give, but they're not going to beg you for it. Ike and Israel, same thing. They're just out there for the love of the game. And that's one of the problems with a lot of the Miami channels, content creators, etc. They want that money. And when you start getting that money, I mean, I say getting, they begging you for the money. They beg you for the money. They want you to, they mention it. because they want the money, and then once they get that money, they are bound to make the boosters happy. You know, got to keep everybody happy. We want the money to roll in, so we're not going to piss anybody off. We'll just pull whatever bullshit we can find out of our ass, throw it against the wall, see what sticks. But that's one thing that I like what all of us have going. We don't really care. You know, if you like it, you like it. If you don't, there's another channel down the road. I really don't care. But anyway, yeah, I really, you know, all seriousness, I really appreciate y'all taking time out your Saturday night to stop by and chit chat. You know, probably about a month or so ago, I had made the comment about defense wins championships. And I was explaining how this defense is basically going to be the Achilles heel. Well, no, that's Mirrorball is Mario's D'Onofrio, but the defense was going to be the Achilles heel of this team. And I was told, no, you got to outscore them. You don't know what you're talking about. No, you can't expect to outscore a team. You got to stop the other team. You know. And again, I'm just, you know, we've been talking about the same stuff for 2 months now. The defense is sucking ass. But it's the offense's fault because they didn't score enough points. And you know, I keep harping on that, but I don't care if it's 2024. I don't care if it's 2005. I don't care if it's 2013. Insert whatever 20-year time frame, whatever year you want to. It's still going to be Georgia Tech. You know, it's still going to be Georgia. You gave up 28 points to Georgia Tech. There is no excuse for a Miami Hurricanes football team to let that be acceptable. I don't care who the coach is. I don't care what type of NIL deals. I don't care. You know, and that's what frustrates me is how the standard or the expectations have been perverted just because we don't want to upset the donors. We want to keep getting that money in on our channel. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, again, Utah will have is it going to be a recap hype? Because usually on Mondays is a recap.
Yeah, it's not really a recap because we don't have a game to recap. We did our recap right after the Georgia Tech game live. It's going to be more or less kind of, I guess you could say, like a mid-season state of the U type of show where
I like that. I like that. Yeah.
We'll talk about a little bit about what happened, but mostly moving forward, you know, a segue into, you know, and then we'll have
you can look, call it what you want, but you need to be there Monday night at 8:00 Eastern. Telling you.
I will be there. I will be there, definitely.
And I'm telling you right now, you know, I never sit here and say, please like, share, and subscribe. Turn your notifications on. No, I'm not going to do that. But I'm telling you, you need to turn the notifications on for Utah. You need to turn the notifications on from the bottom of the map. You need to go check out. And I'm getting there, Cuban. I'm getting there. And of course, my man, Shad, the man who really basically he influenced me to start doing all these numbers and stats and stuff. I got my notebook and everything because of Shad. He's the reason. So if you don't like what I'm doing, blame him, not me. Anyway.
Hopefully Utah game banned from the show because I think I'm back from Utah after the shit.
They can ban it if they want to. We gonna ride in this month. Oh,
yeah, no.
Sorry.
You're good, Cuban. I told you. You're
I know.
good.
Don't fuck around.
But seriously though, fellas, seriously, I'm not sitting here trying to blow smoke up y'all's ass for my benefit. No, it's straight heartfelt, man, straight heartfelt, and it just does my heart so. I just feel so good to where we have the opportunity to fellowship with people like ourselves when it comes to Miami Hurricanes football. People like us, if we go on other shows, we're going to be ridiculed, lambasted. But screw 'em. We're like that.
Before you guys got one thing to tell Larry Frank. Y'all have Lonzo Ball.
Oh my God.
That was his little Laker jab. Because Cuban loved the man to death, but he gonna sucker punch you with that Laker comment and running high. He gone.
Yeah. But he's not here anymore, but he's still watching. So Cuban, I know you're still watching. So guess what? For you, my response, Cuban, that right there.
Oh wow.
But anyway, so yeah. Like I said, the main reason for this little video here, this show here, is the defense is an issue, and based on all the information and everything that we gave regarding the defense, I just don't see how you can still say the offense was a problem against Georgia Tech, because I'm telling you, I feel good about Wake Forest. Syracuse, I don't. And then the ACC championship game, which right now SMU and Miami are in the driver's seat. Okay. SMU, I don't know. And it's all because of the defense. All because of the defense. But we'll see. That's why I didn't want to talk. I didn't bring anything up about playoffs or anything. Let's just get to the ACC championship game. So, that's really about it. I want to give y'all a quick programming update. I'm not going to be able to do my traditional post-game or pre-game, post-game show because I'll be working nights this coming weekend. So what we'll probably end up doing is we'll probably do like a little Wake Forest preview, maybe Thursday night, because Friday night, you got Utah with the hype show.
Yes, sir.
And I will not go on Friday or Monday night out of respect for those young men. And then probably, I don't know. I really don't want to go on a Sunday. I don't want to go to maybe Tuesday of week after next, maybe have a recap or a post game show for Wake Forest. So I just want to let y'all know that I won't be doing anything this coming weekend, but I'm sure we probably will gather and discuss it Thursday night. So, but I will say this. If Miami doesn't make it to the ACC championship, or if they lose the ACC championship and they don't make it to the playoffs, episode 21 of The Rise and the Fall will be out probably in February. So, if they don't win the ACC, in my opinion, it's a failure this season. I don't care how many wins they got.
Right.
Just my opinion. My opinion.
Right.
I came into the season saying win the ACC. I'm not really worried about playoffs right now. We got to crawl before we walk. And let's just win the ACC. But anyway, thank y'all again. Shad, baby girl, so precious, getting big. See, she got her ears pierced, looking fancy. But anyway, I'm out of here, fellas. Thank y'all again. Peace, love, and soul. Let's go, Canes.
Go Canes.
See y'all later. Have a good evening, y'all. Bye.
Yes, sir. You too.